The Kevin Kersey Agency of Brownsburg presents the Hendricks County Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Tonight's game is being broadcast with the help of Audiosportsonline.com and is underwritten by the Kevin Kersey Agency of Brownsburg, Panuni's Pizza and Wings, Westside Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Pete Fay, State Farm Insurance, Ivy Tech, Crane Credit Union, Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Florist, Red Cobra Wrestling, and Avon Dental Center. Welcome to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium on the campus of Avon High School, where tonight the Avon Orioles host the Zionsville Eagles in the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Welcome to the pregame show. I'm Brian Scott. The Orioles are coming off of a loss last week to Westfield, a game that Avon actually had a chance to win late. They had a touchdown with 4 minutes remaining in the football game, elected to go for the win with a 2-point conversion. But for Avon, they fell just a little bit short as they were unsuccessful on the conversion try and ran out of time as Westfield came away with the 21-20 win over the Orioles to send the Orioles to 3-4 on the season and 2-2 in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. The Zionsville Eagles, they're coming off of a loss last week as well, their third straight loss, as the Eagles, they fell to Brownsburg by the score of 38-25. Zionsville enters this game with a record of 3-4, but they are winless in 4 tries in Hoosier Crossroads Conference action. When we return, I'll be talking to the head football coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football pregame show on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Reynolds Body Shop has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, providing collision repair. They're located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com or call 317-243-2372. McNamara Florist has been in business since 1954 with 8 locations, including the Avon store on Rockville Road. They offer floral designs for various occasions. They're located at 9655 East Highway 36 in Avon and can be reached at 317-579-7900.
Hi, it's Nicole from the 70s Dance Party. Be sure to tune in every Saturday night at 7 o'clock right here on 98.9 FM WYRZ for a dance party full of great dance hits from the 70s. You'll hear a wide variety of songs you can dance to, keeping you on your feet for a full hour. Check out my Facebook page, 70s Dance Party, or email your requests to 70sdanceparty989@gmail.com, and you just may hear your song on the program. So let's dance, Saturday at 7, right here on WYRZ. Special thanks to my underwriters, Big O Tires in Brownsburg, Mike and Jenna Price of Remax Centerstone Realty in Plainfield, the Coachman Restaurant in Plainfield, and Chicago's Pizza Plainfield for supporting this program.
WYRZ.
It is now time to talk to the head football coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. Avon coming off of a really tough loss last Friday night. They fell at Westfield by the score of 21-20. And, Coach, this was a game that I'm sure, as Coach Shelbourne, my broadcast partner, would say, it's why coaches end up with no hair, is that it's a game that you could have lost by 10 to 14 points, but it's a game you could have easily won by 10 to 14 points.
I think that's an accurate statement. I really liked the way we played for most of the game. There's some key plays in there that just really hurt us. But all in all, I'm proud of the way our guys have been competing. We've talked before about consistency of play and effort. And, I think that's what gets us in trouble. We lack some consistency, whether it be on offense or defense. When it's time to make a play, say, for example, on offense to be able to complete a 2-point play or convert a first down, or defense to get the stop when needed. It's just a matter of being more consistent because I think we've got talent, and I think we're close to being where we want to be. We're just missing some key pieces.
You talk about your defense, and really at the beginning of the game, Westfield goes with the surprise onside kick. They get the recovery. And now there's your defense going out. And in that first series from Westfield, they don't get any yardage. As a matter of fact, they go back 9 yards. And that would pretty much be the key to the first quarter of keeping the Orioles in the game was the defense. They managed to get Westfield off the field, but then your offense gives it up on a turnover like one play later, and there's your defense right back on the field asking them to do the same thing again.
Well, you're right. And first of all, it was a great call on Coach Gilbert's part. With special teams, onside kicking, and
The Kevin Kersey Agency of Brownsburg presents the Hendricks County Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Tonight's game is being broadcast with the help of audio.
Special teams, onside kicking, and I don't want to sound bad, but I'm surprised it hadn't happened before. After watching film, it looked like our front five guys were cheating back a little bit instead of playing on the upper part of the line to make sure nobody onside kicked us. So, great lesson learned for us, but good call on their part. And then, yes, very proud of the way the defense came out. I think 2 of the first 3 plays were for either a tackle for loss or no yardage. And, we forced the punt. And then we get the ball, and in our first play, we throw an interception. And, interceptions are a difficult task because on our side of the ball, is the quarterback protected? Did the quarterback make a good throw, or did the receiver run a wrong route? So, it's not all on the quarterback's shoulders, but unfortunately, an interception, we turned the ball over. Defense came out and again, played well. Forced them to a field goal attempt, which I believe they missed. So, we kind of went through the fire on 2 possessions there. And, that's where offense we need to be able to take control and work the ball down the field and put a score up. And it changes the complexion of the start of the game, that's for sure.
Your offense, Cameron Meisner, for really the second straight game, he threw for 197 yards. He had the 1 early pick, but then threw for 3 touchdowns, and once again for the consecutive game, we see him really distributing the ball well.
That is true. And we like that. We like to see him spread it out. You can't key on one receiver when that happens. And I think his progression has really come to the forefront. He is getting so much better, so much more comfortable in his role. And for the most part, I think he's taking care of the ball when throwing the ball. As I mentioned, the interception, not always his fault, but he is the guy releasing the ball. I thought that the offensive line did a pretty good job of protecting him. And, there's many pieces to the puzzle to be able to execute. And sometimes we got 9, 10 guys executing and maybe 1 or 2 guys that are not fully executing. That is where we have a breakdown. And that's true on the defensive side of the ball as well.
Your offense was able to do some pretty good things. Of course, rushing the football, Brian Fitzgerald ran for 135 yards. And really, the one thing where this game really swings is that long 35-yard touchdown run that's nullified by a personal foul face mask penalty. That turned big because you ended up with a turnover, I believe, right after that. And that really became a big focal point of the football game.
Right, and I believe the score was 14-7 at this point. We were down in the red zone, and I don't mind saying it. It was a horrible call. I've never seen the call on a running back for straight arming a face mask penalty. And, going back and watching it on film, it was a horrible call. And, I don't like calling referees out, but it sure changed the game. Fitz goes in and scores a touchdown. The referee runs up and drops a flag on the 5-yard line. Unfortunately for us, we didn't react real well. They sent a nice blitz at us. Cam got caught with the ball in his hand and couldn't get it out, and we sack fumbled. So now we go away with no touchdown, no opportunity to kick a field goal right before half.
It was still a game that in the second half you hung in there, and then late in the fourth quarter with a little over 4 minutes, you get the touchdown. That brings you to within one, and you decide to make the call to go for the 2-point conversion.
That's right. And I like the call. I think, timing was okay. Most of the time you're going to go for two when there's not much time on the clock. But the score before, I said, if we get back down here, we're going to go for two. Win the game, put pressure on them, win the game, go home. When you're on the road, I don't like going overtime on the road. So, it was my call to make, and I made the call. Coordinator Eric Moore did a great job coming up with a 2-point play. And really, it was executed very well with patience. Cameron Meisner waited for Luke Shayatovich to clear. Luke did a good job running the route because he had to clear through some linebacker drops. And unfortunately, we just didn't make the catch. But even so, there was 4.5 minutes left on the clock. I felt very good about our defense being able to get a stop, get us the ball back, and let us attempt a field goal. Unfortunately, it didn't quite play out that way.
You had a little bit of confusion on that 2-point, and I don't think it was with your team necessarily. You were forced to burn what turned out to be a pretty important timeout. I think, was it a matter of getting the ball spotted where you wanted?
Yes. On a 2-point conversion, you can ask to be on either hash mark or center of the field. And by the time I got the referee's attention to get the ball moved, we only had 10 seconds on the play clock, so I was asking to reset the play clock, and we were denied. And I don't know why we were denied. You watch NFL games, college games, anytime a situation like that arises, they reset the play clock. So it was unfortunate, but, I don't know, maybe it wouldn't have hurt us to take the penalty, but I wanted to keep it as close as possible to try to convert, so we spent a timeout there.
Give me your thoughts on this year. We've seen a change in the way the play clock is used. Of course, we have now the 40-second play clock, and I think we've seen it in a couple of games. You get late, and now you've got teams, if you're down by one, what used to be you had maybe a chance to get the ball back late with that 40-second play clock. It's causing a little bit of consternation if you're down by one.
That's true, and that definitely would have helped us a year ago in the semi-state game if we would have had a 40-second play clock. But it's not as difficult to manage, coming into it. I think everybody at the high school level was a little worried about it because it was something different, something new. But it's been very easy to manage. And, yes, it puts it in the favor of the team that has a lead, that's in that 4-minute offense that wants to eat time off the clock. It makes it a lot more productive to be able to shave the seconds off the clock.
Orioles now 3-4 on the season, and now you've got an Eagles team that, as we probably say, this is not your father's Zionsville Eagles team. This team has undergone a massive change since Coach Pat Echeverria has taken over. What was a ground-and-pound, strong defense team is now, again, one of these teams that flings it all over the place, and they like to score some points.
True. Coach Echeverria does a great job. He came from Eastern Hancock. Prior to that, he was out at Pike and Cascade with Coach Moyers. We've known Pat a long time, and we have a lot of respect for him. He does a lot of good things with the program, but it is different than what they were used to with Coach McWhorter. But they're capable of putting up a lot of points. They have a very, very good running back. He runs well. He's 1,800 yards last year and well on his way again this year. Have a couple quarterbacks they rotate in, and they both throw the ball well, and some very good athletes on the perimeter to get the ball to. Defensively, they want to bring some pressures at you, so you got to make sure that you're able to pick up the blitz. And a lot like we are, they play really well at times, and then other times they struggle a little bit. So I think, we're kind of in the same situation.
The Eagles are coming off of their third consecutive loss. They played Brownsburg last week, and the Bulldogs, they won their seventh game in a row as Hunter Johnson threw for 5 touchdowns against the Eagles. They come in averaging a little over 34 points per game, but that defense, when you see a team that loves to get up and down the field, they run that tempo, they want to get in as many plays, but then it also gives you a chance to get back out there on the field and do the same.
That's right. And, that's the difficult thing about a fast-paced offense. If you're going no huddle, fast-paced, and you go 3 and out, your defense is right back out on the field. If you go in and have a 3-play score, your defense is right back out on the field. So it does make it difficult to make adjustments, to keep your guys fresh. And that's, dang if you do, dang if you don't. So that's kind of what they like to do. And offensively, they're very good at it. And defense, they're starting to adjust a little better.
You mentioned their twin-headed quarterback, senior Blake Levy and junior Andrew Brecker. When you take a look at these two quarterbacks, statistically, you'd probably say that Levy is the little bit better passer, but both of these quarterbacks seemingly can get the job done.
That's true. And one of their game films we were watching, they're in dark uniforms with dark numbers, so it was hard to tell which quarterback was in. And to me, they're one and the same. They both play really well, throw the ball well. Now, one, I believe Levy likes to leave the pocket a little bit more than the other, but they're built similar, and they throw the ball very well.
You talk about the running back, and this was a player that in last year at Zionsville, he gave you some fits in Brendan Micasell, and he will give a lot of teams fits. He has rushed this year for coming up now on, he has rushed for over 800 yards, and he has also caught the ball for 272 yards. And he's the guy, when they're looking to score, they're going to get the ball in his hands.
That's true. That's true. If he gets a crease and he can get to the second level, he's very good at taking it to the house. So, our mission is we can't give a crease. We got to be able to battle him at the line of scrimmage and not let him get past our linebacker level. As you mentioned, he's very good coming out of the backfield. He has good hands, a lot of swing routes and screen plays with him. So we got to make sure we know where he's at all times.
When we take a look back quickly at the Westfield game, and we saw this at Brownsburg, and we started seeing some success with teams that ran the ball right up the middle. Nate Freilich, he had a great game against you last Friday, and then we saw Brownsburg in the first half, how they were really successful running the ball up the middle. What were some of the keys on maybe shoring up that middle part of your run defense?
Well, we got to play physical up front. Our D-line has to be able to control the line of scrimmage. They cannot be pushed back or double-teamed and make a seam and or get blocked into our linebackers' laps. I think our linebackers have been playing better. Our D-line at times plays very well, but it seems like that when we give up plays, typically somebody on the front line is getting blown back. So that's one of the areas of concern that we've been stressing to try to improve upon.
You did have a new linebacker start against Westfield, and we'll see how he if you've got him in here for Zionsville. Spencer Strout had a pretty nice game against Westfield.
Right. Actually, Spencer started and played the whole Fishers game. Camden Morrell had a high ankle sprain against Whiteland, and he played sparingly last week, was out the Fishers game. And Spencer's a young man that's worked extremely hard in the weight room and has been driven by his mission of becoming a varsity player. So it's really nice to see when you see a guy get rewarded through his hard work.
Speaking of being rewarded, as we are winding down the Mark Bless Show on only 2 more games left, we saw that you had a very special announcement about one of your offensive linemen, DJ Bowles, being recognized this week.
That's right. I don't know all the details because I don't do Twitter, but he did come in and talk to me on Monday that he was selected to play in a national, I'm not even sure the complete title, but a national all-star game through USA Football, I believe.
And that's pretty good recognition for a player that's just a sophomore.
Absolutely. Both DJ and Addison this weekend went over to University of Miami for an unofficial visit over in Ohio. and they had a great visit. And, they're starting to get on the map with a lot of college football programs. So it'll be interesting to see how things play out for those guys.
Of course, final thing we'll talk about this week, the sectional assignments were announced over this past weekend, and the Orioles will start their playoff journey on the road at Pike, and this might be, for once, one of your more favorable draws. In the past, you've probably drawn the toughest teams to begin. Last year, it was Brownsburg. You've also had to face Ben Davis to start out, but this year you get Pike, which for Pike, this is a very, very unusual year, a very down year for the Red Devils, but I'm sure they will always be fired up come playoff time.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. One of the things we talked about, yes, we do like that draw. With Brownsburg and Ben Davis being in the other bracket playing each other, how could you not like that draw? But the thing I reminded our players is Pike feels the same way about us as we do about drawing them. Mm-hmm. So, we got to still prepare, still embrace the process and want to play our best football come tournament time. And then on that Friday night, may the best team win.
That was the head football coach of the Avon Orioles, Coach Mark Bless. When we return on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football pregame show, I'll be joined by the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne as we get ready for kickoff between the Avon Orioles and the Zionsville Eagles. You're listening to the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Red Cobra Wrestling offers training sessions from Chad Red. They're located at 9233 East Highway 36 in Avon, across the street from Walmart and behind Sidelines in the Red Brick Building. They offer sessions for all ages, including 3rd grade and under and 4th grade and up. Learn more at RedCobraWrestlingAcademy.com. Dr. Timothy Greer and Dr. Christopher Lefebvre of Avon Dental Center have been in practice in Hendricks County for over 20 years. Located in Avon's Beechwood Center area, just east side of Ivy Tech, they're open Monday through Friday, although early morning hours are available. You can get more information at avondentalcenter.com or by calling 317-272-8100.
Every Saturday at 1 p.m., hear Bob Jenkins with the Hoosier Top 20. Each week, Bob picks a different year and an Indiana radio station, then plays the survey Top 20 Countdown from that station.
This week on the Hoosier Top 20 Countdown, we'll remember WISH Radio, which later became WIFE, and their Top 20 the first week of October 1960. Number 1 is a really crazy novelty tune. Find out what it is this week on the Hoosier Top 20 Countdown.
And it's only here on WYRZ, underwritten by Comfort Suites in Brownsburg.
WYRZ. Welcome back to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium as we get ready for kickoff for tonight's game between the Avon Orioles and the Zionsville Eagles. Once again, I'm Brian Scott. It's a beautiful night here in Avon. Temperature about 75 degrees, wind blowing in from the northeast. Not a bad night to play some football in the beginning of October. And WYRZ meteorologist Paul Poteet said shouldn't see any rain either. Might see a scattered shower, but not looking like it right now as we get ready for kickoff here at Avon. And before we go any further, we want to remind you are listening to 98.9 FM WYRZ-LP in Brownsburg. Avon, as I mentioned earlier in the pregame show, they're coming off of a tough loss last week. They fell to Westfield by the score of 21-20, and when you take a look at the stats of that game, Avon looked like they played pretty well. And as you heard me talk to head coach Mark Bless, it's a game they lost by 1, could have lost by 10, could have won by 10. It was just that kind of a football game, but in the end, the Orioles come away with the loss. Cameron Miser last week threw for 197 yards, picked off once earlier, did throw for 3 touchdowns, did also have a fumble. For the Orioles, a big night rushing the football. Bryant Fitzgerald, he rushed for 135 yards, and we talked about that play with Coach Bless, the face mask penalty that nullified a 35-yard touchdown run. big crucial part of that football game. But Fitzgerald had a very good night on the offensive side of the football. He also had a very good night on the defensive side of the football. Meanwhile, as we said earlier, Cameron Meisner doing an excellent job spreading the football around as he had 6 different receivers get into the action. Isaac Garendo had that 48-yard touchdown reception. He also caught 2 touchdown passes on the night. Luke Shayatovich also had a touchdown reception, and we talked about Spencer Stroud. Spencer had 14 tackles in that game, and Brian Fitzgerald, he had 19. But the Orioles, they fell to Westfield, and now they are home for their regular season finale, taking on a Zionsville Eagle team that has lost 3 games in a row. Last week, they fell to Brownsburg by the score of 38-25. It was 14-12 in favor of the Bulldogs after the first quarter, but then Brownsburg pulled away behind 5 touchdown passes from their senior quarterback, Hunter Johnson. Johnson finished with 302 yards passing and 5 touchdowns on the night. For Zionsville, it's that double-headed quarterback that Coach Bless talked about earlier in the pregame show. They use a junior, Andrew Breckner. He threw for 149 yards and a touchdown last week. And Blake Levi, he's a senior, or Blake Levi, he's a senior. He threw for 109 yards, but he also was pretty effective when he wants to run the football. But it's Brendan Mickelson, their talented senior back. He rushed for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. And I bring in the Indiana Football Hall of Famer, former Avon head coach, Mr. Dave Shelbourne. It was a tough loss last week. We heard from Coach Bless that, it was a very, very tough game to lose by 1. But before we hear from Coach Shelbourne, we're going to have our national anthem. That is the award-winning Avon Marching Band as they have our national anthem before tonight's game between the Avon Orioles and the Zionsville Eagles. I'm Brian Scott. Once again, I will now bring in Dave Shelbourne. Avon with a tough loss last week. We talked to Coach Bless. As we mentioned earlier, they lost by 1. They could have won by 1. They could have lost by 10. They could have won by 10. A lot of good things, some bad things, but all in all, as they head into the final couple of games of the season, now knowing that sectionals are just around the corner, what do you like to see from this Avon team coming off of last week's loss?
Well, you're always looking for improvement, and there were lots of good things last week. And the coach in me knows that the way they handled this is they looked at the things that they did well, and they're going to try and continue to do those. And the mistakes that they made that are correctable, they're going to work very hard to do that. This time of year, you don't want to look ahead to the tournament, but it's always in the back of your mind. And what you want your team to do is improve each and every week. And, there were lots of good things that we saw last week. It was a heartbreaker because a couple of plays that could have gone our way didn't go our way. We had an opportunity to win with about 3 minutes to go in the game on a 2-point conversion, and unfortunately dropped the ball and didn't convert that. But, lots of pluses. Westfield is a good football team. This time of year, what you want to do is continue to do the things you do well. You're still looking for that balance in the offense. I think Cameron Meisner has had a very nice season, and he's become a veteran now. He's going to enter his 8th game as a starter. They're playing Fitz a little bit more on offense. The inexperienced offensive line, they had the 2 freshmen coming back who are sophomores. They're starting to gel here a little bit. They had all brand new receivers that are starting to get the hang of things a little bit. And defensively, we have seen a lot of good things out of the defense. They're trying to stay healthy. They're going to try and not give up big plays. That's one of the things that, just really, really hurts you defensively if you give up a big play. And I think they're at the point now where they're pretty solid fundamentally and they're going to play well. Tonight, I think the over-under on tonight's game might be 100 points. Zionsville puts a lot of points up on the board, but they also have a tendency to give up a lot of points. Avon has had an up and down season. We're responsible for Hamilton Southeastern's only loss. We beat up Fishers 38-3, and they came back the next week and upset Cathedral 27-17. We had the tough loss down at Whiteland, and we were lucky to pull out the opening game with Plainfield. So, it's a little bit tough to tell who's going to show up. Hopefully as we get to this point in the season, we're going to start to see a little bit more consistency on both sides of the football. And I think at this time of year, it's when you see those really star players, as we saw Brian Fitzgerald kind of step up last week and kind of take, a little leadership role and kind of take the bull by the horns and try to lead his team to victory.
Zionsville comes in with a 2-quarterback system, a junior and a senior. And, this is a team that, as we've talked about last week a little bit, talked about with Coach Bless, not the same Zionsville Eagles that your father grew up with or even you coached against.
Absolutely not.
Definitely a full spread team, and they've now gone to that 3-3 stacked defense as well. But it's their offense has been plenty good with both of their quarterbacks and, of course, a very talented tailback in Brendan Mickelson. But that defense has shown to have a few holes in it this year.
Well, it is just such a contrast. When Larry McWhorter was up there and Gil Spear was his defensive coordinator, and when I was the head coach, we just had some unbelievable barn burners. And I know I've talked with Coach Bless and his staff because they used to play in the same sectional with Zionsville on occasion. And if you got 2 touchdowns on Zionsville, I mean, you just felt really good about your offense because they were so tough defensively. And the offensive philosophy was not to make mistakes. And, now the offensive philosophy for Zionsville is to wing it on every down and score as many points as you can and to try to hang on by the seat of your pants defensively. So it's a contrast in styles.
Avon Orioles will kick off. They are wearing the white pants with the black jerseys, the white numerals and gold trim, and the black helmets. And Zionsville in the dark green pants, white jerseys with green numerals and the metallic green helmets. And the kickoff is taken at about the 3 and taking a hold to the 25 to the 30 and taking it out beyond the 31-yard line is Scott Rogers, a 5'11", 160-pound senior. And the Eagles will start with excellent field position on a nice kickoff return. They'll take it out beyond the 30, and when they put this ball down, it'll be set at the 32-yard line. Starting at quarterback for the Eagles, who will run a very up-tempo spread look. It will start with this junior, 5'11", 180-pound Andrew Brecker, but we'll see plenty of Levi Blake in this football game.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's Broker, and if he's related to Dave Broker, who was a quarterback at Carmel a few years ago, then he's got good genes, good DNA, and I'm guessing that that's probably the case.
So we will say it is Andrew Broker, and the handoff, however, is to Brendan Mickelson. And Mickelson, very, very talented tailback on the season. Mickelson has already rushed for 767 yards and 9 touchdowns. But more importantly, Mickelson has 4 carries of over 100 yards. That shows you the explosiveness that he has in the backfield. Here is 2nd and 8. They'll bring a man in motion. Back to pass is Broker. He's firing deep, looking deep, and it's almost intercepted. Knocked down by Nicholas Gray, who gets the start at free safety, a 5'11", 180-pound junior. They had Tommy Fawcett running down the hash lines. But it's
and they had him open early, underthrew him just a bit, and the safety came over, but he had the corner beat on the deep route, and Zionsville's already showing their what it is they want to do. They're going for the throat on every play.
So that's going to bring up 3rd down and 8. Ball is at the 34-yard line. They'll bring a man into the backfield. His broker will take the snap. He will hand the ball off, and looking for some running room over the right side and not finding a lot is the tailback Kyle Callahan. And it'll bring up 4th down, and the Oriole defense will force a 3-and-out as the Eagles send the punting unit on.
Well, that's a good opening series for Avon. 2 running plays that they stuffed. They went for the long pass, and they defended it very well. So 3-and-out against this offense is a good start for the Avon defense.
Back to punt the ball, Nick Breyer. Back deep is Luke Shayatovich and Brian Fitzgerald. It'll bounce and take a Zionsville bounce and be down inside the 30 at the 29-yard line, and the Orioles will have it 1st and 10 at their own 29. 10:33 left to go in this first quarter of play, and it'll be Cameron Meisner, the 6'3", 190-pound junior quarterback, leading the Orioles out onto the field. Meisner, the past few weeks, as we have alluded to during the pregame show, has done a very good job making his progressions and distributing the football last week to 6 different Oriole receivers. And on 1st and 10, the Orioles put 4 wides, 3 to the near side of the field. They're moving left to right in this opening quarter of play. In the backfield with Meisner is Fitzgerald, but the Orioles will pass. They'll set up the screen, and it'll be knocked down. They were trying to get Fitzgerald crossing over the middle, but it's incomplete. It'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, it looks like they tried to try a little middle screen, let them penetrate, get a good pass rush, and then try to throw the ball over them. Unfortunately, Zionsville played it pretty well.
Meisner on the season has thrown for over 1,000 yards. He has 13 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions on the season. He has done a good job of protecting the football, but a couple of interception and a fumble last week proved to be their undoing. They'll send a man in motion, but here's Brian Fitzgerald looking for some room around the right side, eludes 1 tackle, runs over 2 others, and Fitzgerald will take it up to about the 34-yard line. They'll set up 3rd down and 5.
Very nice run. I mean, they played it pretty well defensively, made a couple people miss. He's put them in, kind of manageable 3rd down position here, 3rd and 5 or possibly 6. Good field position. Probably going to see the ball in the air here, but, 3rd and 5 is a very manageable place to be.
Ball is on the right hash, 4 wides, 2 to each side as they look over that 3-3 stacked, very familiar-looking defense for the Orioles. It's the same one they run. As Meisner takes the snap, looks to pass, fires down the field, has his man and dropped. As Isaac Garendo, he had the ball, had to go up for it. He knew he was going to take a hit, but coming in to make the play was the safety, a 5'11", 175-pound junior, Nick Nelson. He gave a stick. That separated the ball from the receiver, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, they ran a seam route, kind of a 4 vertical route. They're playing their corners up real tight on the outside, which is giving free releases to your inside people. He was open coming up the seam. The ball was perfectly thrown. Just a very nice job by the safety, knocking the ball out and causing the incompletion.
Mason Stemler, he'll keep it on the rugby. He will go up. He will have the 1st down. And that's one of those advantages to those rugby-style punts. He took about 4 or 5 steps off to his right and saw a lot of green field up in front of him, and he tiptoed the sideline, and he'll give the Orioles the 1st down as Stemler will go out of bounds at about the 42.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, from up here, I don't think that's a called run. I think it's more take a look, and if you think you can get the 1st down, go ahead and do it. Zionsville didn't have anybody out there to force him to kick, and he very wisely took it and picked up the 1st down.
So give the Orioles a fresh set of downs, 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line. Ball on the right hash, 9:33 left to go, opening quarter. Here's Fitzgerald. He'll find some room on the left side, and Brian Fitzgerald will dive forward, and he's going to pick up about 7 yards on 1st down. He'll be shy of the midfield stripe. They'll mark him down at the Oriole 49-yard line. It'll set up about 2nd and 3.
Yeah, we've mentioned all season, and actually for the last 3 years, he just makes things happen. I mean, that was a 7-yard run, and and he's just magic every time he touches the ball. He just flows when he has the football.
Fitzgerald has rushed for 423 yards this season, but for the most part, he hasn't really been a feature of the Oriole offense except for the past couple of games. And on 2nd and 3, he'll get the ball, find some room on the right side, and he'll be very close to that first down marker as he gets across into Eagle territory. And it looks like he'll have the first down by about a football length.
Yeah, little trap play, off that inside zone action. Got a little bit of a kick out. The linebackers filled in there fairly well, but he ran it hard enough, and it was blocked well enough for us to get the first down.
Orioles head to the line of scrimmage on this 1st and 10. Ball just inside the Eagle 48-yard line, and 8 minutes and 35 seconds on the game clock. No score, opening quarter, and the first drive of the football game for the Orioles. That was extended when Mason Stemler ran it. Here's a play-action pass, back to pass as Meisner. Protection breaks down, and he's going to go down at about his own 45-yard line. Good coverage downfield and good pressure by the Eagles.
Yeah, they brought some linebackers that time. He had to get rid of the ball a little early. They tried to run a crossing route. It was a little deeper developing route. He tried to hang on a little longer to let the route develop, and the blitz and the pass rush got to him.
That's going to bring up 2nd down and 16. Ball's back in Oriole territory now, back at the 46-yard line. They'll send Chad Carmichael, Luke Shayatovich, and Corey DePriest to the far side of the field, where Isaac Garendo is the lone receiver near side. Ball between the hashes on this 2nd down and long. Meisner back to pass, drops back, swings it out to Fitzgerald at the 45. Bryant makes one move, but a good tackle out there in space. Tackled by Cody Wagner, a 5'11", 158-pound junior. Otherwise, Fitzgerald had a good bit of real estate in front of him down the left side.
Yeah, Zionsville played it well. I think what they were trying to do is run the corner off and try to get the ball out to Fitzgerald in the flat and let him do what he does, and it was just played very well by Zionsville, and now Avon's forced here with a 3rd and 14 situation.
Ball at the 49-yard line of Avon. 7:06 and counting here in this first quarter of play. Meisner will check over the offense. He's joined in the backfield by Samson James. Back to passes. Meisner fires left side. It's complete to Garendo, and Garendo has the first down and a few more before he's run out of bounds on that far side by the safety Tyler Milby, but a big 3rd down conversion on 3rd and long for Avon.
And what a nice throw. I mean, that's an out route to the left. That's a tough throw for a right-handed quarterback. They knew they had to have 14 to get a first down. The receiver ran the route, broke it off right in front of the Zionsville defensive back, and he made a nice catch. And not only did he make a nice catch, but he turned upfield immediately and picked up a few extra yards.
1st and 10 for Avon at the Eagle 30. There'll be split backs as Samson James and Corey DePriest are in the backfield. This is DePriest. He'll get the ball. He'll swing through a couple of Eagles defenders, and Corey DePriest with the carry will have about 11 yards and another Oriole first down at the Eagle 19.
Yeah, Avon looks like getting into a little rhythm here. That getting that first down on a 3rd and 14 is certainly good for morale. They came back with a little running play. Corey's a little bit different style, obviously, than Fitzgerald. He hit the hole very well there. Made a couple of moves and picked up good yardage.
Once again, split backs with DePriest and James in the backfield. 3 wideouts. Luke Shayatovich, the lone wideout to the near side. Here's a handoff to DePriest. He has a lead block. He has the corner, and he will get another first down and then hit hard. No flag, but hit late on that sideline. But DePriest with another 12-yard gain. He had Samson James with a nice little lead block out there, caught the corner. As Coach said, he was off, and he'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. And
yeah, nice job. Nice job by the offensive line getting him to the corner. And they were in man coverage that time, I believe, and that's part of the reason that there was nobody on the corner to contain the play and turn the play back in.
Well, there was a penalty called against Avon. There was no penalty on the late hit, and as the Orioles break the huddle, they're just now finding that the football's back at the 30-yard line, so they're going to have to.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why we got the corner so cleanly. They called us for a holding penalty.
So the ball will be pushed back to the 30-yard line. It'll be first down and 20 for Avon. Did not see the penalty flag on the field, but the call is for holding. So wipe out the 12-yard game, push the Orioles back to the 30-yard line, and they'll line up in a rather offset eye look, but with both of the backs to the right of Meisner. He'll give it to James right up the middle to the 15 and into the 10-yard line before he is brought down. Once again, the safety, Tyler Milby, made a touchdown-saving tackle. Excellent blocking along the front line and a big gain. 20 yards for Samson James and a first down for Avon.
Yeah, that was extremely well blocked. He hit the line of scrimmage going 100 miles an hour, and the safety really made an awfully nice tackle. When he broke through, I thought he might have an opportunity to get in the end zone, but a great open field tackle prevented that.
James will be in the backfield. Adrian Lozano, I also believe, is back there with Cameron Meisner. First and goal from the 9. The give is to James right up the middle once again. Over a pair of defenders. No signal. And he's in for the touchdown. Late signal, but Samson James from 9 yards out runs it in and puts 6 on the board as Samson James, and it's just simple, straight-ahead blocking. He ran it right up the middle and got the ball over the goal line, and that's going to bring on Justin Hydorn for the point after. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and the kick is good with 5:19 left to go in this first quarter. Avon leads Zionsville 7-0. Back in a moment. The Kevin Kersey Insurance Agency of the Farmers Insurance Group helps with home, auto, life, or business needs. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317-286-3481. They can also be found on Facebook at the Kevin Kersey Agency or at their website at www.farmersagent.com/K-Kersey. Samson James runs it in from 9 yards out, and the Avon Orioles take a 7-0 lead alongside the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelburne. I'm Brian Scott. 5:19 left to go in this first quarter of play, and a couple of very strong runs by the 6'1", 190-pound sophomore Samson James. But a lot of this set up on Mason Stemler's decision to go for it on a punting situation. This ball will be kicked, and it will be taken, and it'll be let bounce into the end zone. Or rather, Tommy Fawcett thought about returning that, let it go. There's a good stiff wind coming out of the northeast now. It is at the backs of Avon, but a very strong wind. Don't think we're going to have any rain, but now temperatures are beginning to fall a little bit, and this wind has really picked up as the Eagles offense returns to the field down 7-0. Their last possession, they found themselves 3 and out.
A great job on that last drive by Avon by the offensive line. They look like they're starting to establish things up front.
So 1st and 10, the handoff is to Mickelson. He'll look for some room right side, pick up about 3 yards. Mickelson on the season, he has rushed for, again, 767 yards. And he's the back there going to ride as he can take him down the field. Again, that explosiveness with those 100-yard-plus runs that he has, 4 of them on the season. They'll bring a man in motion on this 2nd and 6. As, once again, Broker, he goes to the right side, and the ball's batted down. Nice play coming over to make that play is Seth Lewis at a 6'2", 215-pound senior defensive end. He batted it down, and now Eagles once again facing 3rd and 6.
Yeah, nice play. They tried to run a little quick screen out there, a little quick throw, and hopefully he'll run for the first down. Lewis came in, batted the ball down, and took away the play.
So Andrew Broker has now faced 3rd down and 6, works out of the pistol, brings a man in motion across the field. He will pitch the ball out to Micah, so he'll look for some room, and a nice tackle coming in to make the play. Brian Fitzgerald, as he submarined Micah, brought him down, and once again the Eagles are going to be 3 and out.
Well, they've got him playing in what's called a robber position. He's just kind of sitting in the middle of the field. He's like a little deeper aligned middle linebacker, and he just kind of sits back there and reads the play. He's in position where he can play underneath, kind of crossing routes and passing routes, and he's also back there. Really, he's kind of what we call our inside fill on the run game. That time he came up and played it extremely well.
Eagles on this punt will split out everybody, but getting the football away is Nick Breyer. It's going to take an Oriole bounce and a very poor punt as the Orioles are going to have the ball 1st and 10 from the Eagle 43-yard line, a net of only about 18 yards on the kick. And now Avon, just after scoring a touchdown, the Eagles didn't even have the ball for much more than a minute. And now Avon's got the football 1st and 10 at the Eagle 43.
Yeah, well, credit the Avon defense. I mean, Zionsville came in here and still, does have that high-powered offense. But right now we've kind of taken control and shut it down. And, Zionsville's having trouble running the football because our defense is playing so well.
Cameron Meisner works out of the pistol, and he will hand the ball off. This is Brian Fitzgerald, and a nice tackle coming in to get Fitzgerald at the point of attack. Drew Williamson, their leading tackler, a 5'10", 250-pound senior, made a great tackle at the linebacker position for no gain.
Yeah, not that Avon won't throw the ball, because I know they love to throw the ball, but the last time we had the ball, we ran the ball so well, and our offensive line did such a good job. I wouldn't be surprised to see them stay on the ground.
2nd and 10, 3:26 and counting here in the first quarter. Avon with a 7-0 lead. Meisner fires out left side. Here's Corey DePriest, and DePriest will pick up about 5 or 6 yards. And again, another fine tackle out there on that far side. I believe, once again, Cody Wagner might have been there to make an open field tackle. If not, DePriest was down the sideline for an easy score. But as it is, it'll be 3rd down and 4 from the Eagle 37.
Well, Avon got what they wanted. They had man-to-man soft coverage. He was playing off. He went down, ran a little hitch route. Again, throw to the left on the money, and a very nice throw by Meisner, and plenty of time to make that throw.
And we're going to get a free 1st down for the Avon Orioles as movement on that left side of that Zionsville Eagle defensive front is going to be an offsides penalty called against the Eagles, and that will give Avon a free 1st down. It was 3rd and 4. Given the 5 yards, it'll be 1st and 10 from the Eagle 32. 2 minutes, 46 seconds left to go, opening quarter. Avon leads 7-0. They are moving left to right in this first quarter of play. Ball is on the left hash. They will put 3 wideouts in this formation, 2 to the near side. That's Luke Shayatovich and Chad Carmichael working the slot on this 1st and 10. Meisner will hand the ball off. This is Fitzgerald's looking for the corner. He will now turn it up, and he will bowl over and continue to bowl over several Eagles. And that was just men against boys there, if we had to say so, because he just simply had 2 Eagles in his face, and he just kept running. And in the end, Fitzgerald will take it all the way down to the 11-yard line. It's a pickup of about 14 on the play.
It was a nice run, but I want to compliment the offensive line. I mean, they did a great job stepping for position, and they locked onto their defender and stayed on him. I mean, that's a long run to get to the corner out of that formation, and they did a great job blocking for that long a play.
Ball of the 16. Here's a pitch on the end-around sweep. Isaac Garindo, he will elude one man, and he will take it down to near the 5-yard line on a nice little sweep pitch. Garindo will take it to the far side of the field, and looks like he might have just enough for the 1st down.
That's purely a speed play. They had 2 players actually that were outside, that had contained, that had opportunities to make the tackle, and Garindo just beat them to the corner. He just had more speed than they did. So, it really wasn't that we blocked it. I mean, we blocked it well inside, but once he got outside, it was just a matter that our guy was faster than their guy.
1st and goal from the 6 for the Orioles. Ball on the left hash. Meisner fires left side. Pass is touchdown. It is complete. A beautiful back shoulder throw as they come in, and it's Luke Shayatovich that comes away with the touchdown. Shayatovich made a bit of an adjustment in the end zone as Meisner had it on the back shoulder where only Shayatovich could get it, and he comes away with the pass, the reception, and the touchdown.
Yeah, that's a practice touchdown. You just don't walk out there and do that. That's something they work on all summer, and work on all fall. And Meisner, again, I've been very impressed. A lot of his passes tonight have been to the left, which is tougher for a right-hander, but he's been on the money, this entire quarter.
Heidorn's point after is good, and with 1:38 left to go in this first quarter, Avon extends their lead to 14-0. Back with a kick right after this. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football on WYRC. Panuni's Pizza and Wings in Brownsburg delivers to Pittsboro, Claremont, North Avon, and all of Brownsburg. Pizza, calzones, breadsticks, and wings are always available. More information can be found on their Facebook page as well as their website, panuni.com. They're located at 1447 East Main in Brownsburg. The phone number is 317-286-3500. Open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, open till 11 p.m. Kimber Meisner finds Luke Shayatovich from 6 yards out, and the Avon Orioles increase their lead to 14-0. Welcome to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. And this time, Justin Heidorn's kickoff will sail through the end zone. And now the Eagles, who can put points up in a hurry, and they have been pretty much a second-half team most of this season, but here with 1:38 left to go in the first quarter, they already find themselves trailing by 2 touchdowns and so far been very ineffective on offense.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they try to do to combat what they've seen so far. They did try to go deep early, and they had him open. The safety came over and knocked it down. Other than that, they've been fairly controlled in their offensive attack.
It'll be Blake Levi in at quarterback. He'll fire right side. Pass is complete as he hits Tommy Fawcett, a 5'8", 160-pound sophomore. So we're seeing the second quarterback. Blake is a 6'2", 170-pound senior, and on the season, Levi has thrown for over 1,300 yards, 11 touchdowns on the season, but he has been picked off 9 times. Be second down and 5. They bring a man in motion, and they'll have an inside handoff to Mickesel, who will get a couple of yards as Levi, he pulled out to the near side and then handed the ball off on a little bit of a counter play, but well defended by the Orioles.
Our inside 6, our 3 down people and our 3 linebackers have really done a good job so far in the first quarter shutting down their running game. And, my first impression is right now we look like we just have a little more overall team quickness than Zionsville.
Back to passes, Blake. They set up the screen. Pass is complete. They get it to Alon Favors. And Favors is going to be very close, but he may be shy of the first down marker. This depends on where that nose of that football ends up. And they're going to say it's 4th down. He did not get it. They set up the screen, but the Orioles came out quickly. And already Coach Pat Echeverria, he looks like he's going to go for it here on 4th and short, but he will have some time to think as the clock winds down here in this opening quarter. And they will switch ends, and he'll have a little bit of time to think about this one. We played a quarter's worth of football.
Yeah, he may want to be punting with the wind here also.
And they did. They stopped the clock. And it looked like they are calling a timeout, so.
It was Avon called it, right?
Avon evidently called it. Nope, they called Zionsville. They are saying Zionsville called the timeout, which very interesting, Coach, to call that timeout here.
Yeah, I would have thought that Avon might have called it to force them to punt into the wind, but, looks like they wanted to decide what play they wanted to call. If they're going to go for it, they have, it looks like, less than a foot, but, this is a situation. You're already down 2 scores and you're on your 30-yard line, so you better make sure you get the first down.
So Zionsville called the timeout, their first of the half, and they will have 4th and about a half of football. They will bring in a jumbo package. They bring the quarterback still as Levi. He'll hand it off to Mickesel, and Mickesel will get the first down as he dives forward to about the 23-yard line, and that will be the final play of the first quarter. We'll switch ends. The Avon Orioles, they are out in front on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. They lead Zionsville 14-0. Back after this on 98.9 WYRC. State Farm agent Pete Fay is located at 431 East Northfield Drive in Brownsburg. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. More information about life, auto, and home insurance can be found by calling 317-852-9780. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Westside Plumbing, Heating, and Air offers residential heating and air conditioning maintenance, repair, and replacement, and serve all of Hendricks County and West Indianapolis. Their phone number is 317-445-8399. More information can be found at westsideplumbing.net and their Facebook page by searching for Westside Plumbing. Back at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium as we get ready for quarter number 2. We'll flip ends with Zionsville now moving left to right. They will have the wind at their back, and after Brendan Mickelsel's 4-yard gain gives the Eagles a first down, their first down of the football game. They'll have it at their own 34. Back to pass, Blake Levi. He fires, and it's intercepted. Coming the other way as the Orioles pick the pass off, and in taking it inside to about the 30-yard line. And coming away from the foot, there is a penalty flag. And coming away with the football, Nicholas Gray. Ball looked like it was tipped. Gray made a nice catch and a nice return. And then there's going to be a face mask penalty against Zionsville. So Gray had returned the football to the 18-yard line, and now it'll be half the distance to the goal on top of that.
Well, it's, when you take the chance like they did to go for it on fourth down, that's certainly what they didn't want to happen, and they certainly don't need to happen. I mean, if Avon's able to take it in here, they'll be up by 3 scores early in the second quarter, and as explosive as the Zionsville offense has been all year, that's a pretty big lead to overcome against the way our defense has been playing so far tonight.
The penalty will move the ball inside the 10 to the 9, and the Orioles will start first and goal. Split backs. DePriest and James flanking Meisner are just behind him. And Meisner will hand the ball off to DePriest. He'll bounce it left side, takes it to the 5 and into the end zone for the touchdown. So one play later, Corey DePriest from 9 yards out. And already Zionsville now in a world of trouble as they are about to go 3 touchdowns down.
Some very nice blocking by the wide receivers and the lead back. They were hammered from the start. They came in man coverage. They played a 4-down look. Normally they're a 3-down look, but, when you're playing man-to-man, the wide receivers got into their men and did a great job blocking on the corner.
Justin Hydorn's point after is no good as he put that one a little to the right, but DePriest's 9-yard touchdown run increases the lead to 20-0 with 11:41 here in this first half. And, Coach, if you're over on that Eagles sideline, you have an excellent offensive team, but right now they haven't really been able to show too much against this Oriole defense.
Avon's defense has been outstanding. They've stuffed the run. They've played the pass well. They've put just enough pressure on the quarterback to make it tough. I thought maybe when we changed the quarter, and, it's tough to tell. I'm sitting there looking at the flag, and I'm not sure if it's blowing, in line with the field or across. But, Avon was able to throw the ball. Meisner threw the ball extremely well in the first quarter, and right now we just appear to be all over them. Our defense has just been outstanding for the entire first quarter and here early in the second quarter.
Justin Hydorn will kick this ball off into the wind. Scott Rogers and Tommy Fawcett back deep for the Eagles. As Hydorn puts a foot into it, the wind will catch that, but there's going to be a penalty flag as the Orioles were offside on the kick. Just from that kick, we saw Hydorn. That one got into the air on that end-over-end kick, and you definitely saw the wind knock it up. It was going to be a very short kick, but he'll get a chance to do this one again.
Yeah, any question I had about the wind, I think just got answered because we watched him kick it into the end zone when we were kicking south, and now that he's kicking north, that ball went maybe 30 yards. It looked like my sandwich today.
Well, the official had forgot to mark the 5 yards back. He was getting ready to set the ball up at the 40-yard line. Now they'll mark it back at the 35 due to the offsides penalty on the kickoff, and Heidoren's going to try it again. Let's see if he elects to just try to line drive this one after seeing what the wind did to the end-over-end kick. He puts a left foot into it, and this one a little lower, but it's still going to be held up. It's going to be taken by an up man at the 30-yard line to the 35 and to about the 38-yard line, and that's where Zionsville will start this drive. 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line, but now trailing 20-0 with 11:27 left to go in this first half of play. And it will be Blake Levi who once again returns to the quarterback spot for the Eagles, who now move left to right. They will stack their double wide receivers to each side of the field. And Levi will hand the ball off. This is Mickelson looking for some room and not finding any, because coming in to make one heck of a tackle was Nicholas Gray. He went from catching an interception on the last drive to coming in and burying Mickelson for a gain of only a yard.
Again, we're off to a good start. First down, that's one yard, maybe two if you stretch it. Avon's defense just continues to excel.
Under 11 minutes left to go first half. Avon with a 20-0 lead. 4 wideouts, 3 to the near side of the formation as Levi looks over the defense. Orioles show blitz. They come from the edge. Mickelson finds the hole. He's up to midfield, and he will have the first down. He basically ran right where the Orioles were blitzing over on the far side of the field, and he was able to pick up the first down and move it into Oriole territory to the 49-yard line.
Yeah, that's the first sign of life they've shown. I mean, that was very nicely blocked, nice run, and they picked up the first down.
So 1st and 10 for the Eagles in Oriole territory at the 49-yard line. They will have 2 wide receivers on the near side, 1 to the far side, H-back right, but the give is to Mickelson. He'll look for some room, and he will have the room, and that explosiveness, as Coach Bless mentioned in the pregame show, once he gets through that first line, you got to get him down. And Mickelson on first down picks up about 8 yards down to the 41-yard line.
Well, maybe it's that end of the field. Now that Zionsville's facing south, they are starting to move the football here a little bit better. That's, a couple of nice runs in a row here, and they blocked both those plays extremely well.
2nd and 2 for the Eagles. Ball near the left hash, moving left to right in the second quarter. And now coming across the front is C.J. Hunt as he buries the Eagles center about 3 yards back, and that'll be a free first down for Zionsville. C.J. trying to blast across the line, and he's going to be hit with the offsides, and the Eagles will get a free first down at the Oriole 36-yard line, 1st and 10.
Yeah, didn't leave any doubt. I mean, it's very obvious he's coming off the ball as hard as he can, and if he times that right, he's going to be tough to block.
So Blake Levi now has a 1st and 10 at the Oriole 36-yard line. They bring Fawcett in motion. They fake the handoff. Levi back to pass. He's got a man wide open at the 10 and overthrows his intended receiver. Looked like he was trying to get Ethan Hudson, and Hudson had about 4 or 5 steps on the Oriole defender, but the pass is long.
He had him beat deep. That was a good play-action pass. It's a first down play, which is always a good time to run play action. We were in man, no free safety help there at all, and he just, fortunately for Avon, underthrew a wide-open receiver.
Here's Mickelson, the ball carrier. He once again gets into the second level before he's brought down by Alex Griffith. But Mickelson now showing a little bit of burst and a little bit of explosiveness. A big run there, but it'll bring up 3rd down for the Eagles.
Zionsville's offensive line has come alive on this drive. They're blocking a lot better than they did the first quarter, and they're picking up 5, 6, 7 yards at a chunk on in their running game.
3rd and 2 from the 28. Mickelson comes, or it's favors, excuse me. As it was Brendan Mickelson who had the ball, and he will have the first down. Needed 3, got 4 down to the Oriole 25-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Eagles. Clock shows 9:07 as it will be running here. Once again, 2 wide receivers each side, they're stacked, but it's Mickelson, the ball carrier, and Mickelson will get blasted, and that's going to be against Brian Fitzgerald, and this might be a targeting penalty. Mickelson was going down. Fitzgerald was coming in. Fitzgerald laid the hit. And this could be a very, very interesting call for the Avon Orioles if targeting is indeed called. Personal foul is called against Avon. And it looks like right now they're just going to get him for a late hit. The penalty's a big one, however, because it's going to give the Eagles a first down and the ball will be spotted just outside the 10-yard line of Avon. So,
safety issue. I mean, it's at the forefront as it should be right now. We certainly don't want to see anybody get hurt out here. That was a good hit, but he did unfortunately lead with his helmet, and I think that's why the flag came out.
So it's 1st and 10. Ball just outside the 10-yard line for Blake Levy and this Eagles offense. They'll run a fade route into the corner. Incomplete. Good defense over there on the corner. They were trying to get the ball to Jay Edwards, but coming in to make the play over on the far side is Nathan Conley as he busted up that play in the end zone.
He did. Nice throw, but, unlike when Meisner and Shiatovich hooked up, that was just the old fade route where he just tried to run by, throw the ball over the outside shoulder, and have him try to come up with the ball. Conley played it extremely well. If they'd have back-shouldered that, I think he might have run by it, but he got right in the receiver's face and read it and knocked the ball away late.
It's going to bring up 2nd and 10 while the officials might be looking at where the ball was spotted on the incompletion. It should be just behind the 10-yard line. I think they spotted the ball with the nose of the football on the 10. Either way, it's 2nd down with 8:32 left to go in the first half. Avon up 20-0, but the Eagles with their first threat of the football game. Levi back to pass. He fires across the middle, wide open. And getting the touchdown was Sam Edgel, a 6'2", 200-pound junior. He got lost. The Orioles did not account for him because he was just running wide open, and it was an easy toss from Levi Blake. And the Eagles are on the scoreboard with 8:28 left to go in the first half.
Yeah, so something happened there that they're not going to be very happy about at halftime. He was wide open. They did make the nice throw, but somebody made a mistake in that coverage.
Ryan Stein on for the point after, as he will get this ball up into the air through the uprights. And with 8:28 left to go in this third quarter, it's a 20-7 Orioles advantage. Back with a kickoff right after this.
More flashback party sounds and your radio sure feels better. It's party time. All oldies.
Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins. Why not do a show devoted to the dance craze that was sweeping the nation in the early 60s? And because I couldn't think of a reason why not to, this is that show. That's this week on the Flashback Party.
Flashback Party with Bob Jenkins, underwritten by Brooknoll Village in Avon, right here on WYRZ.
Levi Blake finds Sam Edgel from 11 yards out, and the Eagles are on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. They trail Avon 20-7 with 8:28 left to go in the first half. Alongside the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. Getting ready to kick this football away is Ryan Stein. Back deep for the Orioles, Brian Fitzgerald and Isaac Garendo. As the Orioles, last week, they were victimized by an onside kick, and head coach Mark Bless says he's kind of surprised it took that long for somebody to try it. Meanwhile, Stein's kick is going to sail into the end zone with that wind behind his back, and the Orioles will start this drive 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line, and they will do so with a 20-7 lead with 8:28 once again remaining in this first half of play.
Well, Zionsville finally showed a little life, put together a nice drive, ran the ball, made some nice throws, and at least morale-wise, at least they know now they can move the football a little bit. It'll be interesting to see how Avon answers.
Avon once again will show a split backfield, but this time it'll be Samson James and Bryant Fitzgerald in the backfield with Cameron Meisner. Fitzgerald, the ball carrier, he'll have a lead block out front by James. He has room, And Fitzgerald will pick up about 13 yards. A nice little lead block by Samson James, and strong run by Fitzgerald on 1st and 10 to pick up 13.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good play, but, I mean, he just has too much speed. I mean, we're blocking well, and they're defending well, but when he gets to the corner, they just don't have anybody that can run with him.
Credit him with a 12-yard gain as they'll spot the ball at the 32-yard line. 1st and 10, Avon moving right to left here in this second quarter. They'll stay with the split backs as James and Fitzgerald. Meisner, and this play will be blown dead quickly, as the give was to James, but immediately blown dead. The Orioles, for the past couple of games now, have started to show this twin back look. For the first 5 games of the season, they went solely single back, but they've started going double back, and they did so on the 2-point conversion try last week against Westfield, and now we're seeing quite a bit more of it here against the Eagles.
And they are. I mean, this is kind of their variation of a power game. They have played with a tight end, but very little this year, so to get that extra blocker in, they have to go with the extra back.
They'll give it to James, and James will take out an inside handoff and pick up a few of those 5 yards back before he's brought down, tackled on the play. Coming in, looked like it was David Gruninger that made the tackle. But it's a pickup of only a couple of yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 13.
Yeah, from Avon's point of view, it'd be really nice if they could put together a little drive here and, put another score up. If they are forced to punt here, it will give Zionsville an opportunity to try to get themselves closer in the ball game and morale-wise get themselves back in the game.
This time the Orioles go with 4 wides. They'll bring DePriest in motion, but the handoff is to Fitzgerald. Right up the middle, hurdles an Eagle, and he almost broke that. Coming back to make the tackle, who was out on the wide side for Zionsville, was Ben Ardeline. And Ardeline made a nice play. He was covering, looked like DePriest coming over toward the near side, came back, made the tackle on Fitzgerald. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 5.
Well, they've made up some of the yardage, but penalties are just killers. But 3rd and 5 again. 3rd and 5 gives them a chance.
3 wides to the far side of the formation. Fitzgerald in the backfield. Eagles show blitz. Meisner back to pass. He fires. Penalty flags coming in. He was looking for Luke Shayatovich, and looked like Nick Nelson was all over Shayatovich, and this one will likely go against the Eagles.
Yeah, just tried to run a little slant pass, 3rd and 5. They're expecting man coverage. Slant pass is good, especially if the receiver can get himself inside the defender. The defender evidently must have known he was beat, broke a little bit too soon, and hit our receiver before the ball was there.
They'll actually are going to call Eagles for holding. They're going to say there was holding before the pass. Either way, it's an Oriole 1st down as they'll spot the ball at the 47-yard line of Avon. 6:28 left to go first half. Avon with a 20-7 lead.
Well, we'll see here. In this situation, I know Coach Moore likes to go deep, so we'll see if we do take advantage of the penalty in the 1st down.
3 wideouts, 2 to the near side. Ball in between the hashes as Meisner takes the snap, but he'll give it to Fitzgerald right up the middle to the 45. Gets his balance back, and Brian Fitzgerald with an excellent run. Looked like he might have gone down in the Eagles' 48, but he kept his balance, and he'll get the 1st down, as he'll take it down to the 42-yard line of Zionsville.
Yeah, Avon's offensive line starting to gel here a little bit, knocking Zionsville off the ball, creating some room at the line of scrimmage for Fitzgerald. And, with his burst of speed, if we can get him into the secondary cleanly like that, he's going to break one here sooner or later.
Orioles are in Eagles territory. The ball at the left hash. 2 wides to the far side, 1 to the near side. Fitzgerald is the lone back as Meisner looks over that 3-3 stack defense. He'll take the snap, drops back to pass. Great protection all day. Looking for Shayatovich coming across the middle. Good coverage downfield by the Eagles, but excellent protection there by the Oriole offensive line.
Yeah, trying to run a crossing route because they were in man coverage. They bumped our receivers on the cross. I mean, that's, the old rub route. You can't say pick, but pick route. and they were trying to, run their defenders into each other. And Zionsville actually played it pretty well and stretched the play out a little bit longer than Avon wanted them to.
Clock stopped at 5:50 on this 2nd down and 10 from the Eagle 42. The give is to Fitzgerald. He'll go the right side. He gets the corner to the 40, to the 35, and still going. And that's going to be spotted very near the first down marker. An excellent run by Bryant Fitzgerald as he bounced it to the right side, got outside the corner, and he does pick up the first down.
Well, Coach Moore calling the plays. I think I saw him heading upstairs here tonight, doing a nice job mixing up the run and pass, the inside runs, the outside runs. And, as we've mentioned multiple times, Fitzgerald is kind of one of those special kids. And I really think Zionsville's done a nice job not letting him hit the home run, because he's looked a couple of times like he was going to get it all.
They'll give Fitzgerald a breather as Samson James comes in as the running back, and he will get the football. He'll look for some room around the left side. He'll cut it upfield, and he will take it down inside the 32, about the 27-yard line, a pickup of about 5 on first down.
Well, Avon's gelling. I mean, they're really handling things up front. Coach Johnson, Jared Johnson, does a nice job with his offensive line. He's got the 2 sophomores that, believe it or not, are their experienced ones, and 3 juniors up there. And, they're into their 8th game now, and they're starting to gel as a unit, and it's starting to show here on this drive.
2nd down and 5. Ball at the 27-yard line of the Eagles as Meisner takes the snap, gives it to Samson James, takes it up the middle to the 20, to the 15, and down to the 10-yard line as a big hole opened up. That offensive line of Addison Batten, DJ Bowles, Jack Camp, Ryan Brodnick, and Alex Shoemaker doing an excellent job up front.
Yeah, they're beating up Zionsville's defensive front pretty good right now, and they're hitting it at 8, 9, 10 yards a crack right now in the running game, and they're mixing in the pass a little bit, which at this point is just kind of for fun, because they're really, really, really doing a great job up front.
Samson James remains the ball carrier. 2 wide receivers to each side, and they'll stack them left and right. Meisner, however, will give it to James. This time he is hit in the backfield. Drew Williamson got penetration and hit James, and James might be lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, Zionsville went with an all-out blitz that time, and I think they got tired of getting ripped up there and decided that if Avon's going to continue to run the football inside, we're going to do what we can to stop it on this play, and they brought the house that time. They brought 6 people inside. It was a good guess that time. Avon's now at 2nd and 11, but it'll be interesting to see what Avon tries to do to combat that.
Clock shows 3:42 and counting here in this first half. Avon with 2 timeouts, Zionsville with all 3. Samson James in at tailback, but they will throw the corner route, and they're looking over on that side for Isaac Garendo. That ball a little bit too far to the boundary, and it'll fall incomplete and bring up 3rd and 11.
Yeah, I think, we're looking at the flag straight across the field now, and that wind is really blowing hard. I think that was a pretty well-thrown ball, but I think once you got it up in the air, the wind blew it off course, because the route wasn't bad, and really the throw initially didn't look bad, but those flags are almost blowing off the poles over there on the Zionsville side.
The wind is blowing kind of out of the northwest right now, a little bit cross the field, but more into the face as Meisner has 3rd and 11. He will drop back to pass. Good blitz pickup. He finds Shayatovich in the end zone for the touchdown. Shayatovich climbed up, put 2 hands on the football, brought it down, and the Orioles strike again. This one from 12 yards out, Meisner to Shayatovich.
Well, Shayatovich is just he's got a knack. I mean, he's not a huge kid. He's got good quickness, but I don't know that he'd be a 100-yard dash kid on the track team. But there's something about him, and he and Meisner seem to click. He has the ability to get open. He can make that tough catch when he's covered, and that time that's exactly what he did.
There's a low snap. Shayatovich picks it up. They're going to pin Shayatovich back at about the 12-yard line. A low snap that snapped and skidded on the turf. And Shayatovich just simply picked it up, yelled fire, to see if the Orioles could get anything out of it. They don't. That's the second extra point they've missed. But, however, with 3:26 left to go in the first half, they lead Zionsville 26-7. And while we have a moment, we want to remind you, you're listening to 98.9 FM WYRZ LP in Brownsburg. Coach, another very impressive offensive drive by this Orioles offense.
Well, they're clicking on all cylinders, and I really think a lot of it, has to do with the offensive line. They're doing a great job. The running backs are running well, and we've seen the maturity of Cameron Meisner as the season has gone on. Early in the season, he's brand new. He's following Brandon Peters, Mr. Football, and a lot of expectations. But game after game after game, he looks far more poised. Great composure on the field, making decisions, starting to assume the leadership position that needs to be taken at the quarterback position. And he's making all the throws, and he's doing a great job leading this offense.
Hydorn kicks it. Actually gets a great kick. It's taken at the 5-yard line up to the 10, 15, 20, and 25. Still running into the open field to the 40, 45, 50, 40, to the 35, and finally tackled from behind. And getting that football was Scott Rogers. He switched positions with Tommy Fawcett. That kick went a little deeper, and Rogers with an excellent run. And he's going to give the Eagles great field position with a 3:11 left to go in the first half. They trail 26-7.
Well, as impressively as Avon's played tonight, you've got the 2 extra points that were not converted. And, the first kickoff was run back fairly well, and this one, of course, was almost taken to the house. So they've got a few things in the special teams to take care of this week in practice. Levi Blake,
he stays in at quarterback. He takes a snap, fakes the end around, they throw in the end zone, and just like that, the Eagles are on the scoreboard on a quick strike from Levi Blake to Brock Bishop. It covers 30 yards, and the excellent kickoff return leads to a big play, and the Eagles, they're down still, but a little bit of momentum now as they trail 26-13. Pending the point after.
They are. Avon's always been a pressure defense with Coach Bombay, and, we're sending some people, and right now we're in man-to-man coverage, so those guys are kind of out there on their own without free safety help. And if you don't get to the quarterback, it's kind of a lonely existence being a quarterback out there chasing a quality wide receiver into the secondary, and that's a couple of times that they've beaten us pretty good, where they've been 4 and 5 yards behind our DBs. They overthrew at least 1, maybe 2, and they've been able to convert a couple of times. So that's that's something at halftime they're going to have to make some decisions about how they want to handle that.
So the excellent kickoff return sets up the Eagles 1st and 10 at the Oriole 30, and one play later, Levi Blake finds Brock Bishop from 30 yards out, dropped a dime right into his breadbasket. He carried it into the end zone very easily, and with 3:05 left to go in the first half, Avon has watched their deficit shrink to 26-14. The Eagles, they receive to begin this football game, so the Orioles will have the kickoff reception to begin the second half. And right now, the way they have been running the football, they have 3 minutes and 5 seconds left to go and 2 timeouts remaining. I'm sure they'd like to get some more points. They will be, though, heading into what's turned into a very stiff wind here at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium.
Well, the tough part there is morale-wise. You had them down by 3 scores. You're getting ready to kind of put them away, going at halftime feeling pretty comfortably, and now they come back in 2 plays and put some points up. And, I think what they're trying to do from Zionsville's point of view is send a message to Avon that you better keep scoring because, we've kind of figured it out here a little bit. Yes, you're scoring on us, but we think we have an answer for you as well on the other end. So Avon's defense is going to have to buckle down a little bit, and their offense is going to have to continue to do the things they've done here pretty easily and pretty well the entire first half.
Orioles have it 1st and 10 after the touchback puts the ball at the 20-yard line, and they will keep that split back look. Samson James and Corey DePriest in the backfield. This is DePriest looking for room on the right side, led by James. DePriest has a block, and he will take it up past the 30 and down to about the 30, up to the 35-yard line, maybe even a yard or so more. They're just using Samson James as a lead blocker there, and they pick up 15 on first down.
Well, and it's not Corey's got special skills. They've used him most of the year as a wide receiver because they've used James and Fitzgerald, but it's nice to see they're figuring out some ways to get him the football.
There's DePriest just to the other side. He comes to the left. Won't pick up 10, but he will pick up about 6 on the play as he gets up past the just past the 40-yard line. It's a pickup of about 6. It'll be 2nd and 4.
Well, you've got 3 quality running backs in Dupreece, James, and Fitzgerald. And they all have their own distinct style, but they're all quality running backs.
This time it is Samson James looking for some room around the right side. He'll dive forward, but he'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down marker as he'll take it up to about the 43-yard line. Clock continues to move. 2:18 left to go in this first half. The Orioles lead the Zionsville Eagles 26-14. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. The Orioles with a third, let's call it a little short 2. They'll give it to James, and Samson James will barrel forward. He will pick up the first down. They brought Garendo in motion, kind of faking that sweep look, and they give it to James to just power on ahead, and he has the first down at the Oriole 48.
They continue to move the football. Time is going to start to be a factor here pretty soon, though, so they're going to have to be throwing the ball downfield here pretty soon.
They bring Shayatovich in motion. They set up the screen. They get it to James, and he has a ton of room to the 40, and he will be taken out of bounds, or taken down inbounds, let's call it now, as they spot the ball inside the 40 down to the 39. A well-designed play. They set up the screen, and James will take it all the way to the Eagle 39-yard line.
Was a well-designed play, and really I thought when I completed the pass it might go for everything. It was a nice play by the Zionsville defender.
Here's Samson James. He'll go forward, and then he will stop. He will stop because he was met by Simon Swinford, a 5'11", 250-pound senior defensive lineman who just stopped James in his tracks for a gain of about 1.5 yards. Ball is just shy of the 37-yard line, but the clock continues to move with 1:18 left to go in the first half. Orioles with 3 wideouts, ball near the left hash. They are moving right to left here in this second quarter. 3 wideouts to the far side. Meisner back to pass. Here comes the pressure. He will let it go, and he was looking for Corey Dupreece, who had kind of sat down at the 35-yard line. Good pressure that time from Zionsville. Forced Meisner to get the ball away. It was a little inaccurate, and it'll bring up third down at about 8.
Yeah, they brought a couple off the weak side that we either couldn't block or didn't see them in time to block them, and 2 guys came off the weak side clean. I actually thought Cameron Meisner did a nice job getting rid of the ball and not taking a loss.
Orioles on this 3rd and 8 send Chad Carmichael and Corey Dupreece to the far side. Shayatovich and Garendo near side. And Brian Fitzgerald is the tailback. Meisner back to pass. He looks. He fires. Looking deep. There's Dupreece, and the ball is knocked out of his hands at the last second. A great defensive play coming up to make the play for Zionsville. I believe might have been Tyler Milby. That'll bring up 4th down, and the Orioles will send out the punt team with the ball at the Eagle 37-yard line, but a pretty stiff wind facing the Orioles right now. 59.5 seconds remain in this first half.
Well, the way Zionsville has moved the football the last 2 times, time being a factor, I think it's wise by Coach Bless here to do the field position thing and try to pin them down here as far as you can, and with time being a factor, this is a great punt.
And getting that football away, it was Justin Hydorn back there to punt the ball, not Mason Stemler. Eagles had nobody back. They were going to guard against another possible run, but Hydorn with an excellent kick will pin the Eagles back inside their 5, and with 48.1 seconds left. We'll see what Coach Pat Echeverria will do here with 1st and 10 from their own 4.
Well, it's a long way to go in a short period of time, but we'll see.
And they will hand the ball off. This is Mickelson over the left side. He has a hole to the 15. And he will take it up to near the 19-yard line. He'll pick up 14 yards on first down, as it is Levi Blake that remains in at quarterback, but a strong run by Mickelson, and now have it 1st and 10 at the 19. Zionsville with all 3 timeouts. Clock is moving. They don't seem to be in too big of a hurry.
Well, we've got 2 safeties sitting back there 15, 20 yards now because it is the end of the half.
The pass is complete to the 28. Now making a run down the far sideline is Brock Bishop. A nice throw by Levi Blake, and The Eagles have now, in just a few plays, have taken it all the way out to their own 40-yard line after starting this drive at their own 4.
Well, they do have the wind at their back. They do have to get it down the field here a little bit further, but nice catch and throw, and very wisely run out of bounds by the Zionsville receiver. And I mentioned before, in these situations, I always like to try to run a player across the field, see if you can hit him on the run and let him run with it.
Blake back to pass. They set up the screen. They get it at the 41, taking and running into the umpire. That's an unfortunate thing for Brendan Mickelson.
Nice tackle by the umpire.
As he was looking for room, he had the umpire right at the 49-yard line of Avon.
The umpire didn't even give him the spot.
Didn't give him the spot, as it'll be a gain of 9 yards. And now
he made the tackle and then spotted him short.
Zionsville will call a timeout with 16 and a half seconds remaining in the first half. Avon leads 26-14. Stay tuned. Coming up at the half, we'll take a look at what else is happening as far as Hendricks County High School football is concerned on this Friday evening. After tonight's action, only one game left in the regular season, so we'll take a look at who's playing where, what the conference standings look like, and we'll also be talking about the playoffs. That's coming up in just a couple of weeks. The sectional draw was announced over the weekend, so we're going to tell you who's playing where, who's playing whom, and maybe even a thought or two about the playoffs as we get ready for the second season here in Indiana. After the timeout, Zionsville will have its second down, a long yard ball in Oriole territory, just shy of the 49-yard line. 26-14, Orioles with the lead. 19 seconds remain on the game clock. Eagles still with 2 timeouts remaining. This drive started at their 4-yard line with under a minute left. Levi Blake back to pass, fires left side, and it's incomplete. He was again looking for Brock Bishop on that far sideline, but threw it a little short to bring up 3rd and 1.
Yeah, they've got time for maybe 2 plays here, and then they're going to have to make up their mind. They're either going to have to throw one up in the end zone and take their chances, or try to throw the ball down the field close enough where they have a shot at a long field goal.
So 3rd down and 1. Mickelson in the backfield with Levi Blake. And Blake is back to pass. Pressure comes from the outside. He fires it to the right side. Pass is complete. A great catch by Jay Edwards, a 6'1", 190-pound senior wide receiver. Went down, took a hit, held on to the ball, and now Zionsville is going to call their second timeout. 9.3 seconds remaining, and the football is at the Oriole 37-yard line.
Yeah, I would say, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out. They're going to try and throw the ball down the field far enough where they feel their field goal kicker's got a chance. And, we mentioned a strong wind here, the entire broadcast. So his range, at least distance-wise, might be increased with the wind. But, right here, we're looking at a 55-yard field goal. So, they're probably looking to get the ball down the field at least another 15 yards before they have a legitimate chance to try for a field goal.
Ryan Stein, the place kicker for the Eagles, has only attempted 4 field goals all season long. That one field goal he made was 31 yards. So not something that the Eagles have done a whole lot this season. They've elected to try to put the ball into the end zone rather than through the uprights, and we'll see what they can do with 1st and 10 at the Oriole 37-yard line, 9.3 seconds. They hand the ball off. This is Brendan Mickelson. He'll take it to the 30, and now there's really only time for one more play. Eagles will call timeout, and they will send Stein on, it looks like, to try a very long field goal. The wind, as Coach Shelbourne mentioned, it is brisk. It is kind of moving in from, I would say, a little bit through the northwest. And I would have to guess, I would hazard a guess of at least 20, 25 miles an hour. The ball is on the right hash, so this, when all is said and done, will end up being around a 47-yard field goal attempt for Ryan Stein. So this will likely be the final play of the first half. Avon leads 26-14. Ryan Stein is going to be on to attempt a 47-yard field goal. They get a 48-yard field goal as they'll set it up at the 38. Stein's kick is blocked at the line of scrimmage, and it's going to be picked up by Avon. Avon can return this to the 10, 15, 20, 25, cuts back the other way. running at the 30, coming up to the 40. This is Nicholas Gray, and he will finally be brought down at the 45-yard line. Wisely, Gray went back. He saw that kick wasn't going to go into the end zone. He picked it up, and he was maybe just a player or two away from breaking that.
You made it exciting. You made the last play of the half interesting. It's really been a kind of a fun first half from a spectator point of view. Lots of points, lots of scoring. The ball in the air, some very nice runs, a couple of good plays in the special teams, and it's really kind of what we expected, what we talked about in pregame. I joked about the over/under being 100, and we're sitting there at halftime at 40, so we're a little bit close to what we thought we would see.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk about what's happening again during this second to the last week in Hendricks County High School football. As we go to the halftime, it is the Avon Orioles leading the Zionsville Eagles by the score 26-14. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Since 1968, the Kersey family has been helping customers with insurance needs. They have insurance coverage for homes, autos, and recreational vehicles. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317-286-3481. They can also be found on Facebook at the Kevin Kersey Agency or their website at www.farmersagent.com/K Kersey. The Kevin Kersey Agency is a member of the Farmers Insurance Group. Panuni's Pizza and Wings in Brownsburg delivers to Pittsboro, Claremont, North Avon, and all of Brownsburg. Pizza, calzones, breadsticks, and wings are always available. More information can be found on their Facebook page as well as their website, panuni.com. They're located at 1447 East Main in Brownsburg. The phone number is 317-286-3500. Open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Friday and Saturday, open till 11 p.m.
Hi, it's Nicole from the 70s Dance Party. Be sure to tune in every Saturday night at 7 o'clock, right here on 98.9 FM WYRZ, for a dance party full of great dance hits from the 70s. You'll hear a wide variety of songs you can dance to, keeping you on your feet for a full hour. Check out my Facebook page, 70s Dance Party, or email your requests to 70sdanceparty989@gmail.com, and you just may hear your song on the program. So let's dance, Saturday at 7, right here on WYRZ. Special thanks to my underwriters, Big O Tires in Brownsburg, Mike and Jenna Price of Remax Centerstone Realty in Plainfield, the Coachman Restaurant in Plainfield, and Chicago's Pizza Plainfield for supporting this program.
This Saturday night, Comfort Suites in Brownsburg presents the broadcast debut of the United We Stand Bowl. It's the Police versus Fire charity football game, and the kickoff is at 8 p.m. live from Brownsburg High School. If you can't be there in person, you can listen on 98.9 FM and WYRZ.org. This broadcast is underwritten by Comfort Suites in Brownsburg and Duke Energy.
Halftime at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. The Avon Orioles lead the Zionsville Eagles by the score of 26-14. I'm Brian Scott. Let's take a look at action taking place across Hendricks County, or at least involving Hendricks County high school football teams. The Brownsburg Bulldogs enter play this week a perfect 7-0 and ranked 5th in Class 6A. They are home tonight. They are taking on a 3-4 Noblesville Millers team. Of course, the Orioles are here taking on the Eagles. The Plainfield Quakers, they are at home tonight with a record of 4-3. They're taking on the Whiteland Warriors. Many of these Oriole fans will remember the Whiteland game because the Warriors came away with a last-second win in that game, and now Whiteland is ranked 15th in Class 5A. A pair of 5-2 teams are taking the field tonight. Neither of them are ranked, but both of them have been playing very good football. Danville is at Western Boone tonight as the Warriors and Stars hook up. The Tri-West Bruins, they had that one stumble for the first game of the year. Since then, they have run off 6 straight. The Bruins enter play this week ranked 5th in Class 3A. They're on the road tonight at Crawfordsville taking on the Athenians. The Athenians are 2-5 on the season. And the Cascade Cadets are at Edgewood tonight. Both the Mustangs and Cadets are 1-6 for the season. As we take a look at action involving many of the Hendricks County schools, we'll take a look also at, what do the standings look like? And, of course, if we take a look at the standings in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference, we will see that the Brownsburg Bulldogs are on top of the conference standings, 7-0, a perfect start to the season for head coach John Hart with just 2 games remaining, 4-0 in HCC play. Brownsburg tonight, as I mentioned, they are welcoming Noblesville, but the big game for the Bulldogs will be next week. They will be playing Hamilton Southeastern, the only team that has any shot of tying the Bulldogs for an HCC title. But tonight, Hamilton Southeastern is playing a non-conference game. They are hosting Wabansie Valley. I knew I was going to get that one wrong tonight. From Illinois, the Royals are hosting them, so they are playing a non-conference game. So they will head into play next week with a record of 4-1. Should Noblesville happen to knock off Brownsburg tonight, that would make a very interesting game next week to end the regular season. The Fishers Tigers are hosting Westfield, the team that defeated Avon last week, and, of course, Avon is hosting Zionsville. And, again, looking at the standings, Hamilton Southeastern is behind Brownsburg, 6-1 on the year, 4-1 in the HCC. The only loss for the Royals against these Avon Orioles. Westfield, 5-2 on the year, 3-2 in conference play. Westfield off that big win against Avon last week. The Orioles are 3-4 on the season, 2-2 in conference play, followed by Noblesville, Fishers, and Zionsville. Along with Avon, all 4 of those teams are 3-4 on the year. Avon and Noblesville, they're 2-2 on the year, while Fishers and Zionsville are both 0-4. For Fishers, a rather odd year for the Tigers this season. They are 0-4 on the year, but they are coming off of a huge win last week against Cathedral. Taking a look at some of the other action involving Hendricks County schools in the Mid-State Conference. We take a look at play from last week. We saw Decatur Central beat Greenwood 28-14. Ron Colley over Martinsville 35-9. Plainfield defeated Franklin 55-27. And Whiteland, they defeated Mooresville 28-6. Tonight, Decatur Central is at Ron Colley. It is Franklin at Greenwood, Martinsville, and Mooresville. And I just mentioned Plainfield is hosting Whiteland. Decatur Central at the top of the mid-state standings, 6-1. Much like Tri-West, they lost their opening game of the season, but have since won 6 straight, and they're a perfect 5-0 in the mid-state conference. Plainfield, 4-3 on the season, but 3-1 in the mid-state conference. Whiteland also 3-1 in the conference and 4-3 overall. Greenwood, 4-3 overall, 2-2 in the conference. Both Franklin and Mooresville are 1-6. Franklin is 1-3 in the conference. Mooresville is 1-4, and Martinsville has yet to pick up a win this season. They are 0-7, 0-4 in the conference. The season wraps up next week with Beech Grove at Mooresville, Decatur Central at Franklin, Greenwood at Whiteland, and Plainfield will be at Martinsville to wrap up the season. In the Sagamore Conference, the Tri-West Bruins are at the top of that conference, 6-1 and winners of their last 6. 5-0 at conference play. They are followed by Lebanon, Danville, and Western Boone. Danville 5-2 overall, 3-2 in the conference, but they have won their last 3. Crawfordsville, North Montgomery, Frankfort, and Southmont wrap up the Sagamore Conference. Last week, Danville beat Frankfort 41-22. Lebanon over Crawfordsville 52-19. Tri-West, they knocked off Southmont 34-7, and Western Boone defeated North Montgomery 22-14. Tonight, Danville is at Western Boone. That is a big rivalry game for those two schools. Frankfort is at North Montgomery, Lebanon at Southmont, and the Bruins are at Crawfordsville to take on the Athenians. The season will conclude next week with Danville hosting Crawfordsville and Tri-West hosting North Montgomery, while Southmont and Frankfort and Western Boone and Lebanon are the other 2 remaining games in the Sagamore. And finally, we take a look at the Western Indiana Conference. We'll take a look at the Eastern Division, where the Cascade Cadets 1-6 on the season, 1-3 in the conference. Right now, Indian Creek leads that conference in that division, 4-0, perfect in the division, but 4-3 overall. Meanwhile, in the Western Division, Sullivan 6-1 on the season, 4-0 in the conference play and leading the Western Division. Last week, I told you Cascade, they lost Indian Creek 41-16. Cascade is at Edgewood tonight. And the next week, the Western Indiana Conference will hold their playoffs, so everybody will be in action with teams to be determined. So that's a look at what's happening with some of the Hendricks County schools and who's playing where tonight and where they're going to end up. And when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about, well, the sectional draw that was decided over the weekend, and we'll let you know who's playing where and maybe a thought or two about that. This is halftime at the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 WYRZ. Dr. Timothy Greer and Dr. Christopher Lefebvre of Avon Dental Center have been in practice in Hendricks County for over 20 years. Located in Avon's Beechwood Center area, just east side of Ivy Tech, they're open Monday through Friday, although early morning hours are available. You can get more information at avondentalcenter.com or by calling 317-272-8100. Ivy Tech Community College is a supporter of WYRZ Sports Broadcast. Ivy Tech offers an associate's degree, or students can transfer to a four-year school and earn a bachelor's degree. You have choices. More information can be found at ivytech.edu or at 888-IVY-LINE.
This Saturday night, Comfort Suites in Brownsburg presents the broadcast debut of the United We Stand Bowl. It's the police versus fire charity football game, and the kickoff is at 8 p.m. live from Brownsburg High School. If you can't be there in person, you can listen on 98.9 FM and WYRZ.org. This broadcast is underwritten by Comfort Suites in Brownsburg and Duke Energy.
State Farm agent Pete Fay is located at 431 East Northfield Drive in Brownsburg. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. More information about life, auto, and home insurance can be found by calling 317-852-9780. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Join me, Brian Scott, weekday mornings from 7 to 10 on 98.9 FM WYRZ for the Morning Drive. A little news, traffic, sports, WYRZ meteorologist Paul Poteet's weather forecast, and a whole lot of great upbeat music to get your day started off on the right foot. It's the Morning Drive, weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on the solid gold voice of Hendricks County, 98.9 FM WYRZ. Halftime at Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, where the Avon Orioles lead the Zionsville Eagles, 26-14 on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. I'm Brian Scott. I'm joined by the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne. Let's take a look at sectionals. As the sectional draw was announced over the weekend, and as far as these Avon Orioles and the Brownsburg Bulldogs concerned, well, of course, they both play in the same sectional in Class 6A, Sectional 5, which for many years a lot of people have said it's one of the better sectionals that have been created since the split to Class 6A. And Avon probably got the best draw they could have hoped for. They drew Pike 0-7 to begin this season, and Avon 3-4. Meanwhile, the Brownsburg Bulldogs, well, they were fortunate in one regard. They get to play at home, but they drew Ben Davis. And while Ben Davis is 4-3 on the season this year, Coach, that's probably not a team that Brownsburg wanted to see to play the sectionals.
Well, you know, there's lots of ways to look at it. It's a team that if they expect and plan to win the sectional, they're going to have to beat them sometime, someplace, and you might as well play them at home. Brownsburg's played well all year. Ben Davis obviously played a little bit different schedule. We saw Ben Davis here earlier in the year, and they really pretty well had their way with Avon. Again, it was earlier in the year, but, you know, they look very good. They've been an up-and-down team. Last week Carmel put up 4 touchdowns on them in the fourth quarter, and I listened to the game on the way back from Westfield when we were up there doing the broadcast, and I also heard that Ben Davis had, over 160 yards in penalties. So, Ben Davis has been a team where, you're just not sure who's going to show up, and whether or not they're going to stub their own toe. But obviously they've got lots of talents. They're very explosive, and they have an outstanding quarterback of their own in the Taylor kid. So, you know, they're certainly a capable football team. You know, it should be a great game.
For Brownsburg, 7-0 currently as they head into play this week under Coach John Hart. This is a team that lost some big skill positions last year in Toksak and Rabati and Tyler Kurtz, but Coach Hart has had a very good defense this year, and he still has what many believe still is the top prep quarterback in Hunter Johnson.
Well, I think the biggest thing that Coach Hart has done for him is he's made believers out of them. You know, they've had some close games this year. You know, I've used the term a lot. You know, sometimes you have teams that you hope can win, and you have other teams that know they're going to win. And I have a feeling that early in the year, Brownsburg hoped to do well and hoped that they could be successful and hoped that they would, you know, have a good record. And I think now they, you know, the expectation after 7 wins and winning some close games, and you know, they showed some guts going for 2 to, you know, win a game a couple of weeks ago. I think their expectations are a lot different than they were earlier in the year, and they're playing at a very high level. So, you know, come tournament time, and again with Hunter being the quarterback, they know they're capable of putting points up at any time. And I think the big surprise for me and probably a lot of people is that, you know, their defense, which has been revamped a little bit. They're running a 4-3 this year, and you know, they're running, I guess, what a lot of people would call kind of a vanilla defense. I mean, they don't do a lot of stunning and blitzing. They're pretty much playing cover 2 in the secondary, but they're playing it extremely well, and they, you know, run into the football, and they're not giving up a lot of points. But you could just see the confidence level in that team increasing every week, and I think that's the one advantage they have going into the tournament, especially if they're able to beat Noblesville tonight, and they come back and beat a very, very, very tough Hamilton Southeastern team next week. And if they enter the tournament undefeated, they'll be on a roll.
The Avon Orioles, again, they probably got what was a rather fortunate draw, and head coach Mark Bless admitted as much in the pregame show. But as he said, even though they liked the draw they got with the Pike Red Devils, I'm sure the Pike Red Devils, if they had their choice between Avon, Ben Davis, and Brownsburg, they're rather fortunate to think that they got Avon. For head coach Jimmy Graves, it's been a really tough season. 0-7 are the Red Devils, and they'll have 2 more games left. North Central tonight and Lawrence North to wrap up the season. And this season for Pike, they've been able to put up some points on the scoreboard, but they haven't been able to stop anybody else.
Well, you know, they're explosive and they have athletes. I think the thing, and I know Coach West and his staff will do it, is you just have to guard against looking too far ahead. You know, Avon is playing well right now. Hopefully, you know, if we can finish out this game and, you know, and next week as well, you know, finish the tournament with a winning record heading into the tournament. But, you know, they have shown that they've been a little bit, Avon has been a little bit up and down this year as well. And you don't want to go into a game against Pike thinking that they're no good if they haven't won any games, because they have enough skills that if you don't go in and play your best, you know, there could be an upset in the making. Obviously, Avon will be favored in that game, and if they go in and play the way that they're capable of playing, they should do fine. But you do have to guard against that as a head coach and as a coaching staff, because, you know, obviously this is our profession, and the coaches know what's going on. The kids don't always know, and a lot of times they only know what they read in the paper or on Twitter.
Meanwhile, for Avon, if they have any thoughts of possibly hosting a sectional game, well, it would come in the sectional championship game, and they can only do that if Brownsburg beats Ben Davis. That's the only way the Orioles will get a home game in this playoff. They will start the sectionals on the road at Pike. Both games for Avon and Brownsburg, this year the bye was moved, so all of Class 6A will get a first week bye. That means Avon and Brownsburg will not play until October 28th. Another team that won't play until October 28th are the Plainfield Quakers in Class 5A. They are in a 4-team sectional, and the Plainfield Quakers will open up on the road. They will travel to Tech and play that game Friday, October 28th. Plainfield 4-3 on the season, and once again, they might feel like they got a fairly good draw. The second half of that bracket is a very intriguing matchup because Decatur Central right now 6-1 on the season. The Hawks have played very good football. who are they going to open with? Well, they're going to open up with the team that beat them for a sectional championship last year, a very, very surprising championship by the Zionsville Eagles. Zionsville didn't have a very good season last year, but they got hot at the right time. They made it through, and they came away with a sectional championship as they defeated Decatur Central. That's what Plainfield has to look forward to coming up in 2 weeks. On October 21st, everybody else will be in action. As we take a look at Class 3A, both Tri-West and Danville in the same sectional 29 on opposite sides of the bracket. Danville will open up on October 21st against Indianapolis Northwest, while Tri-West, they didn't get any favors with that draw. They're going to face Guerin Catholic in their opening round sectional matchup. The winner of that game is probably favored to go to the sectional championship game. And finally, in Class 2A, the Cascade Cadets play in sectional 39. They will open up October 21st on the road against Cloverdale. They'll take on the Clovers. Probably the leading favorite in that section, I would say, would be North Putnam. We are getting close for second half kickoff. We're going to take a break, and then we are going to resume football from Hendricks Regional Health Stadium as the Avon Orioles lead the Zionsville Eagles at the half, 26-14. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Since 1968, the Kersey family has been helping customers with insurance needs. They have insurance coverage for homes, autos, and recreational vehicles. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317-286-3481. They can also be found on Facebook at the Kevin Kersey Agency or their website at www.farmersagent.com/K Kersey. The Kevin Kersey Agency is a member of the Farmers Insurance Group. Crane Credit Union in Plainfield offers loans, savings accounts, as well as online bill pay and banking. They're located at 905 Southfield Drive in Plainfield, and their office hours are Monday through Thursday 9 to 4, Fridays 9 to 6, and Saturdays 9 to noon. More information can be found at cranecu.org, and their phone number is 317-838-8300. Crane Credit Union is a nonprofit bank.
It's Rob Kendall inviting you to join me every weeknight at 7 as the Kevin Kersey Agency presents Central Indiana Today. Stay up to date on the latest with government, big events, and community service organizations as they interview newsmakers throughout the area. And each program is archived for any time listening at our website, wyrz.org. The Kevin Kersey Agency presents Central Indiana Today, weeknights at 7 on 98.9 WYRZ.
Westside Plumbing, Heating and Air offers residential heating and air conditioning maintenance, repair, and replacement, and serve all of Hendricks County and West Indianapolis. Their phone number is 317-445-8399. More information can be found at westsideplumbing.net and their Facebook page by searching for Westside Plumbing.
Here's what's coming up next. Greatest Hits USA.
Hi, this is Chuck Taylor from Greatest Hits USA, inviting you to join us this weekend as we answer the following questions. Who got their hands on a record from another recording studio? What lead singer quit in the middle of a tour? And who had the number one record this week in '64? So turn it up this weekend right here for Greatest Hits USA.
Greatest Hits USA, Sunday afternoons at 1 o'clock on 98.9
Greatest
FM.
Hits USA.
Welcome back to Hendricks Regional Health Stadium, the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. As the Avon Orioles lead the Zionsville Eagles by the score of 26-14. Both teams have made it back out onto the field. The Orioles got off to a fast start at one time, leading this game 20-0, but Zionsville with a little bit of energy there in that second half. They managed to put a couple of touchdowns on the board, and Coach, they did a good job running the football, and some good play by quarterback Levi Blake. Found a couple of nice open receivers, one easy touchdown, and this is a little bit closer game now, 26-14.
Well, they got it going in the second quarter, and, Avon put up 3 in the first quarter, and, a lot of that action happened with the wind, and that may be part of it, but the first half, Zionsville's offense was stymied by the Avon defense, and the second half they seemed to find some answers because they mixed up the run and the pass. We mentioned in the first half broadcast that they hit for 2 scores, but they also had a couple other opportunities where they had receivers behind the Avon secondary. So they're, loosening things up a little bit with the pass, showed that they are capable of running the football. The biggest thing for Zionsville, if they're going to stay in this game the second half, is for their defense to at least slow down the Avon offense and maybe force them to punt or not score on every possession. Avon offensively has mixed things up and done pretty well. Hopefully will end up being a little minor mistakes with the extra points and the kickoff return that set up the second score. But offensively, they mixed things up. The running game has looked good with all 3 running backs. Cameron Meisner has had a good, solid game, and I think the offensive line I mentioned for Avon is really starting to gel here late in the season. It's a young group with 2 sophomores and 3 juniors, and they're starting to come off the ball and establish things. So, early in the third quarter is always going to set the tone. If Avon could take it down and put another score up, they would put them up by 3 scores. If they're forced to punt the ball early and they give Zionsville an opportunity, Zionsville could get themselves back in the game, and Zionsville does have the win at their back here to start the third quarter.
It'll be Samson James, Brian Fitzgerald back deep as Ryan Stein's going to kick this ball off, and again, he does have a fairly stiff wind at his back. As we get ready for second half action, Orioles lead Zionsville 26-14. As Stein puts a foot into it, high end-over-end kick, and that one's going to hit into the end zone for a touchback. And the Orioles will start this drive 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Again, they right now have the lead 26-14. And, Coach, it was something in that first half that I think we saw. Coaches will always say the running game opens up the passing game, and the passing game opens up the running game, and that was probably never more so true than for the Orioles in that first half.
Well, both teams have done a pretty good job mixing the run and the pass. I mean, I think if you ask people, they would probably tell you Zionsville's a passing team and Avon's a little more of a running team, but I think statistically you'll find that both of them are pretty close to 50-50.
They go split backs. This is Samson James, or Corey DePriest, trying to bounce it outside and didn't find a whole lot of room. As great pursuit there by the Zionsville Eagles. Zach Watkins, a 5'9", 170-pound junior linebacker, finally finished off DePriest, but good pursuit from the Eagles defense. That'll lead to no gain on the play in 2nd down and 10. So Avon opens up again with that 2-back look, which they used to great success there in the first half, and it's Brian Fitzgerald and Corey DePriest behind Cameron Meisner, who will work just in front of them. 3 wideouts, 2 to the far side. Again, the Orioles moving right to left. The give is to DePriest. He finds a hole, splits through, now goes to the right side, out to the 25, and finally drugged down and ridden down at about the 28-yard line as Corey, again, with a good, strong run. This time, Brian Fitzgerald was the lead blocker, and once again, Zach Watkins was in on the tackle, but it'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Yeah, Avon will continue to mix things up, but, they're at a spot on the field. They're also going into the wind where they don't want to do anything foolish. So will they throw the football? Yes. Will they be smart about when and how they do it? I would think so.
It'll be DePriest and Fitzgerald in the backfield. Garendo and Carmichael to the near side. Carmichael working the slot, and now here's a free 5 yards. And that's going to drive Coach Echeverria just absolutely nuts if this is against Zionsville, because it was 3rd down and 3, and the defensive linemen jump across the line of scrimmage. And it is offsides against Zionsville. That's just each week my broadcast partner reminds me why coaches have so little hair, and there was another example of it, as the free 5 yards gives the Orioles a 1st down just beyond their 32-yard line. So 1st and 10 now for Avon. And this time they will bring in, I believe, Adrian Lozano in as a H-back right. But the give is right up the middle. This is running with the football, Brian Fitzgerald. He got a nice block, came through the hole with a force, and picks up 11 up to the 44-yard line.
I tell you what, he just looks so good when he hits the line of scrimmage. And as I mentioned multiple times, the Avon offensive line is really, really, really starting to dominate up front. I mean, they've come out here and run on every play. It looks like they're trying to establish things up front. They've got good field position now, but the running game for Avon is really starting to go strong.
Once again, we'll see Lozano as an H-back right. Fitzgerald is the ball carrier as he will look for some room. This time he will not find a whole lot, as I believe Zach Watkins, who has just made it a point to just find the football here on this drive. He crashed down, made the tackle. Still a gain of a yard for Brian Fitzgerald as they'll spot the ball up to the 45-yard line. Call it 2nd and 9. Opening drive of the second half, Avon leads 26-14, 9:30 remaining on the clock here at the Hendricks Regional Health Stadium. Moving right to left are the Orioles with the white pants, black jerseys, white numerals, black helmets. The Eagles in the dark green pants, white jerseys, green numbers, and the metallic green helmets. Back to pass is Meisner. Good protection. He's firing it deep. He's looking for DePriest. He has him at the 20, to the 15, to the 10, and brought down at about the 8-yard line as Cody Wagner made a touchdown-saving tackle. A big, big gain for Avon, and they are once again a goal to go inside the 10.
Well, nice play call. They caught him in man-to-man. Meisner, again, had plenty of time, but did put that ball on the money. They brought Brian Fitzgerald out of the backfield, and I think everybody here thought that that's where they were going, and Zionsville's defense started heading in that direction. And Corey ran right by the defender and made the great catch on a perfectly thrown ball.
Fitzgerald, the tailback out of the pistol, and he'll get the ball. He'll look for some room around the left side. He will try to turn it upfield, but he's going to be pushed back as a host of Eagle defenders came to meet him, finally brought down by Simon Swinford, and that's one of the few times that it looks like Bryant might have lost a half a yard on the play. They'll move it back to the 11-yard line. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 11.
Yeah, tried to get to the outside, and Zionsville played it a lot better. Most of Avon's success on this drive has been direct, right at them. So it'll be interesting to see if they don't come back with that kind of an attack.
2nd and goal from the 11 on a drive that has taken 4 minutes off the clock here to begin the drive. Here's Meisner. He's throwing the fade, looking for DePriest. DePriest comes back and just can't get it. Tried to make an adjustment. Ball was slightly underthrown. Corey tried to come back, but it falls incomplete. It'll make it 3rd and goal from the 11.
Well, they must have done a good job in the scouting report because they're getting man coverage every time down here, and every time down here they feel like Avon's receivers are better than the Zionsville defenders, so you're going to see them throw that fade. That time it was a good call. It just ended up getting knocked down right at the end.
This time 4 wide receivers, 3 to the far side of the formation on the boundary side. Here comes a blitz, and here's Meisner. He's popped, but he gets it away. It's Shayatovich. Meisner was popped, but he got the ball away. Shayatovich made an adjustment, and he takes it into the end zone for the touchdown.
Wow. Big time play. Hung in there tough. Got blasted from the backside. I'm sure he never saw the Zionsville defender coming, and somehow or another the ball came out of his hands right on the money, and 6 points for Avon.
Justin Hydorn left foot puts it up, and this time it goes through, and with 7:51 remaining in this third quarter, Avon extends their lead to 33-14. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Reynolds Body Shop has been family-owned and operated for 30 years, providing collision repair. They're located at 4325 West Washington Street in Indianapolis, just 4 stoplights east of 465. They're open Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 5. Learn more about them on the web at www.reynoldsbodyshop.com or call 317-243-2372. 7 minutes, 51 seconds left to go in the third quarter clock. Avon extends their lead to 33-14 on a fantastic play from Cameron Meisner to Luke Shayatovich. Meisner popped hard, got the ball away. Shayatovich made an adjustment. He was able to get the football and take it into the end zone, but now the ensuing kickoff by Hydorn kind of gets into that wind, gets pushed to the boundary. It goes out of bounds, and the Eagles are going to get good field position to start their first drive of the second half.
Well, they've shown they're capable of scoring, but if they don't score on this drive, this game, might get out of hand. They're having trouble slowing down Avon's offense right now, and if they don't, if they're not able to come down the field and put something up here, this game could get out of hand.
This time they're going to actually, rather than take the ball at the 35 with this stiff wind, they're going to make Avon kick this one again.
Well, they ran the last one back, to the 30 or 35, so they're feeling pretty good about their kickoff return right now if he can keep it in bounds.
So normally you would just take the ball on the 35, but a good stiff wind in the face of Justin Hydorn. He's going to set this ball up at his own 35. He'll put a foot into it, an end-over-end kick. It's also being pushed out, but it'll be taken by Fawcett at the 18. Looks to the 30, to the 35, and he will finally be run out of bounds at about the 38-yard line. So it did pick up about 3 yards in the ensuing penalty. And that is where Zionsville will start over, and we'll see who they send out at quarterback. Starting the football game for the Eagles was Andrew Broker, but Levi Blake shortly came in, and that's who they've stuck with for most of the first half, and that's who will begin the second half of play. And the Eagles will have it 1st and 10 from their own 38. 3 wide outs to the near side of the field as the Eagles move left to right in the third. Blake sets up the screen. He has his man open at about the 39-yard line, but Tommy Fawcett can't get much more than a couple of yards as he will be credited with a 3-yard gain up to the 41-yard line. It'll be about 2nd and 7.
Yeah, a lot of work for 3 yards. A little outside in. Screen, let Avon rush, try to throw the ball underneath. The linebackers read it, reacted, and came up and made the tackle and kept the gain to a minimum.
They had 4 wide receivers. Now they go to 3 because they shift a man to the backfield, and I believe Brendan Mickelson will get little for his effort on that play as he'll be stopped at the line of scrimmage and maybe a half yard or a football length at best, and still going to be 3rd down and 7. And this is a big play for this Zionsville offense, Coach. You mentioned it. If they get off the field here and give the ball back to that Oriole offense, this might be a very, very long second half for Zionsville.
Yeah, they certainly need a big play.
Blake will fire, and he fires it short. He had a man wide open. It was Brock Bishop, who he's connected with several times, but he short-armed that ball, threw it into the ground. Now it's 4th down, and down 33-14. Coach Pat Echeverria, he's going to leave his offense on the field. A big, big play and a big, big call.
Well, they haven't been able to stop Avon on offense, so I guess they figure what the heck.
Blake will roll out to the near side, looking downfield. Now he'll cut it up, and he will not get the first down, and he won't even be close. He tried to turn it up, but he was eventually met and brought down. Coming in to make the tackle was Trey Howell. Trey Howell made the tackle for the Avon Orioles, and a big, big play by that Oriole defense as the Eagles will turn it over on downs, and they'll give the Orioles the football at the Eagle 44-yard line.
Well, they've got great field position. We're only halfway through the third quarter, and Avon's already up, almost 20 points. So this is a great situation for Avon, especially if they can convert and score a touchdown here.
So Avon has it 1st and 10 at the Eagle 44-yard line. Ball on the left hash, moving right to left. Meisner has Samson James in the backfield, but a quick throw to DePriest at the 38, dives forward, and he'll be brought down after a pickup of about 11 yards down to about the 32-yard line. Just a little quick hitch left side, and the Orioles have a first down.
Yeah, good change-up call. I think everybody expected him to run. Very safe throw to make, and again, I'm just really impressed with the way Meisner has thrown the ball to his left. Again, it's usually a tough thing. Obviously, it's something he's worked on because he's thrown the ball with the outs and the hitches to the backside extremely well.
On 1st and 10, this time they will give it to James. Finds nothing up the middle, bounces it off to the right side, and what looked like no gain turns into a gain of about 7 inside the 30-yard line down to about the 27.
Yeah, right now it appears from up here that Avon's just starting to wear them out. Zionsville's playing hard. They're running to the football as well as they can, but you can just see that line of scrimmage each and every play move a little bit further into into Zionsville's defense.
James remains the lone tailback. Carmichael and Shayatovich to the near side of the wide receivers, but it's James with the carry. Looks for some room on the right side, and he was upended. It looked like Zach Watkins had the initial hit, and then Tyler Milby came to finish him off, and that'll bring up third down. About 3 yards to go for the Orioles at the nose of the football, just shy of the Eagle 25.
Well, they've got 2 downs here to make 2 yards, so, if they should not happen to make it here, they'll just come back and run. So pretty good situation to Avon be in right now. They need 2 yards, and they've got 2 downs to get that. And they have Fitzgerald back in the backfield.
We go just under 5 minutes left to go in this third quarter. Avon leads 33-14, big third down, and about 3. Meisner back to pass. Pressure comes. He's laying it up. He's looking deep, looking for Corey DePriest. DePriest got his hands on it but couldn't haul it in. He was open, and if he could just haul that one in, it was an easy touchdown, but it's going to bring up 4th down and 3.
Well, good call. They knew they'd see blitz. They knew they'd be in man-to-man coverage. The feeling is our guy's better than your guy if we can give him time to throw, which they did, and just got that ball a little bit out over the outside shoulder. Otherwise, we would have come away with another touchdown.
4th and 3, and the offense is on the field. Fitzgerald is the tailback, but this play will not get underway as penalty flags come flying.
I don't think we were set.
And it is going to be a procedure penalty called against Avon. They had Lozano in there with Fitzgerald. And as soon as that ball was snapped, the penalty flags came flying. And they will mark this football back 5 yards, and that'll mark it back to the Eagle 31-yard line. And what was 4th down and 3 now becomes 4th down and about 8. Call it a long 7. Those are the football shy of the 30-yard line, and the offense will stay out on the field. They'll send 3 wideouts to the near side of the field, 1 to the far side. Fitzgerald, the lone tailback, as Meisner looks over the defense. Meisner waits for the snap, gets it, drops back to pass. Good protection, fires left side, looking for Corey DePriest, and in and out of the hands of DePriest. Coming in to make the pop there for Zionsville was Nick Nelson, but this time it's the Orioles that turn it over on downs, and the Eagles will get the football 1st and 10, and they will spot that football at just beyond the 30-yard line.
Well, they took a chance on 3rd down, knowing that they'd come back and have 4th and 2. They weren't counting on the penalty, and, penalties are just drive killers. They're, mental errors that you certainly, can correct if you're doing things right, but, the thinking was good. You got 2 yards and 2 plays to get it. You ought to be able to get it.
Here's a handoff. Brendan Mickelson will take it right up the middle and back into the football game as Andrew Broker. He started this football game for the Eagles. He was replaced by Levi Blake, who played out the rest of the first half and the first drive here of the second half. But now it's Broker back in at quarterback, the 5'11", 180-pound junior. And Mickelson gets about 6. He'll get the football again, look for some room around the right side. He will get the corner. He will turn it upfield, and a fine run by Brendan Mickelson, a pickup of about 10 yards up to the 48-yard line and a 1st down for Zionsville.
Yeah, Zionsville, if they're going to strike here, too, they have the wind advantage this quarter, and it's only for 4 more minutes. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them put it up, and not that they can't throw into the wind, but obviously it's a little easier when it's at your back.
So 1st and 10 for the Eagles at their own 48-yard line. 4 minutes, 5 seconds remain on the clock. There'll be trips left, and they'll swing it out.
Double pass.
And they do set up the double pass. There's a man open. That's Brock Bishop, and he will be, what's the call? And they were going to give him the reception as Brock Bishop came down. The pass was by Max Bohr. The official on the far side, the back judge, had to come in to see where he went out of bounds. He was looking for help from the side judge, and the side judge said that Bishop got a foot in. It's a huge play down inside to the 20 to the 19-yard line. They catch him with the double pass. Bishop was open. Moore just managed to get that ball to Bishop where he could get a foot down. Now here's Mickelson right up the front, right through the front door, and a pickup of about 4 yards on the play down to the 15.
Well, that's, that's at least 5 times Zionsville's gotten behind Avon tonight, and we do play an aggressive style of defense. But, when you're up by 3 scores, the last thing you want to do is give them a cheap touchdown and let them think they still got a chance to win the game.
This time Broker, he rolls to the right side, looks, fires, looking for the end zone. That ball might have been tipped. And I believe getting a hand on that football was Spencer Strout. While we have a moment, we want to remind you you're listening to 98.9 FM WYRZ-LP in Brownsburg. Spencer Strout, who's played very well at linebacker the past couple of weeks, I think got a fingertip on that. It's going to bring up 3rd down and 6. Ball between the hashes with Zionsville moving left to right here in this 3rd quarter, trailing 33-14. 3:14 left to go in the quarter. Broker will give it to Mickelson. He'll look for some room around the left side, make one man miss, but the best he's going to get is maybe 3 yards out of it down to the 10-yard line, and we'll see. It looks like Zionsville.
They're going to go for it here.
It is Broker that will stay on the field as they set up the offense on this 4th down and 2. Ball at the they're going to spot the ball, I believe, at about the 11-yard line. So 4th and 2, and the Eagles with a jumbo set. They will hand it off, looking for some room around the right side is Brendan Mickelson, and Mickelson will dive for the pylon, and he will get in the end zone from 11 yards out. A good hard run, and Mickelson dived for the pylon, and they say he made it.
Well, what a great smart run. I mean, he did it so smoothly. I'm sitting up here now wondering, was that actually the play? They tried to run. They were in a power set, tried to run, the old isolation play with the lead back. It looked like they were trying to just, power it in there off guard. He saw that it wasn't there. He very in stride bounced it to the outside and just outraced the Avon defenders into the end zone.
So Ryan Stein's on for the point after. This could make it a 12-point game as this kick is up. He'll split the uprights, and with 2:26 left to go in this 3rd quarter, the Zionsville Eagles, they're making it a little bit interesting. It's 33-21. Back with the kickoff after this. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football game on 98.9 FM WYRZ. The Kevin Kersey Insurance Agency of the Farmers Insurance Group helps with home, auto, life, or business needs. They're located at 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg, and their phone number is 317-286-3481. They can also be found on Facebook at the Kevin Kersey Agency or at their website at www.farmersagent.com/K-Kersey. Brendan Mickelson runs it in from 11 yards out with 2:26 remaining in this 3rd quarter. Zionsville Eagles have made it interesting. They trail 33-21, and now it'll be Ryan Stein set to kick off to Brian Fitzgerald and Samson James. This kickoff is going to go into the end zone. It's a good stiff wind right now. Unfortunately for Avon, they're going to have that at their backs in the 4th quarter, which is 2 minutes and 26 seconds away from becoming reality. But Avon with a 33-21 lead. They have ran the ball very well, took a shot on that last drive for the touchdown, came up just short, couldn't get it on 4th down, and watched Zionsville with a couple of big plays make it into the end zone to make this a 12-point game at 33-21. Now Cameron Meisner and the offense back out onto the field with 2:26 remaining, and they will start this drive at the 20-yard line. They give us to Fitzgerald. He makes one man miss. He's to the 25. He's to the 30. He's to the 35, to the 40, and finally driven out of bounds. And just all Brian Fitzgerald, not much you can do about him. And this is a player that he's going to be playing Saturdays. Where he plays is going to be interesting because he's just really a pure football player.
Well, he's a good one on both sides of the football. It's nice to have a kid like that on the team. When you know you need a big play, you know you certainly have a guy on your team that's capable of making it for you.
He'll take a breather as Samson James comes in. Orioles with wide receivers, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Now they'll bring DePriest in motion, but they'll give it to James right up the front door, and he will pick up about 3 or 4 yards before he is brought down. Drew Williamson made the tackle for the Eagles, but not before about a 4-yard pickup for James. We go under 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Avon up 33-21. This has become a bit of the shootout that we expected tonight. And while the Orioles have never really been not in control of this game, the Eagles have given them some things to think about. And on 2nd and 6, the Orioles will have 2 wide receivers to each side of the field. They'll bring DePriest in motion once again, but this time Meisner's back to pass. He's going deep. Man wide open is Garendo. Garendo with a fantastic adjustment. The ball slightly underthrown. Garendo was in full stride, started going backwards, caught the ball, fell down, and kept control of the football to a gain all the way down to the Eagles' 13.
Well, because Avon's running the ball so well, you can see Zionsville starting to inch up a little bit, blitz a little bit more, and ended up in man coverage, and saw the wide receivers signaling down here. I think they're signaling in the route that they want to the quarterback, and found him wide open.
So 1st and 10, give us to James. He'll find some room. He's looking around the left side, inside the 10, inside the 5, and he's brought down hard as he is brought down on the play. I believe Cody Wagner made the tackle, and he saved a touchdown, but it's a big gain down to the Eagle 3-yard line.
Yeah, and it's for first down on the 3.
So 1st and goal at the 3 as we hit the 1-minute mark left to go in quarter number 3. As heading into the football game is Adrian Lozano. We've been seeing him work as a fullback, H-back, but this time he will line up as a tight end. James is the lone tailback. He's to the left of Meisner in the backfield. He'll get the football, looks for some room. Lozano with a great block. That allows James to run right into the end zone from 3 yards out.
Well, Avon didn't take long to answer. They did what they had to do. The offense tonight is clicking. Meisner's been on the money. The offensive line's done their job, and the running backs have run hard. So they've mixed things up very well. You know, they're sitting here with 40 points, and we still got 1 full quarter to play in the game.
So Justin Hydorn on kick the point after. Left foot is in it. And the kick is good. Took them a while to decide that, but with 39 seconds, Avon increases their lead to 40-21. We'll keep it here because we'll be taking a break between the quarters. An impressive drive by the Avon Orioles. They've done it through the ground, and as Coach Shelbourne has said, by the time Zionsville tries to cheat up on that running attack, Cameron Meisner has been going deep, looking for some receivers, and he's been showing steady improvement throughout this season. And he puts a ball slightly underthrown. Again, he's throwing into a very stiff wind. And, Coach, even into that stiff wind, even though Garendo had to make a bit of an adjustment, that was a pretty strong throw into that wind.
Well, he's a big, strong kid. You know, he's 6'3", 190 pounds. And, you know, we didn't know a whole lot about him because he didn't get much playing time last year with Brandon Peters. But I'm very impressed with, you know, the way he's developed during the year. He's made the throws. He took a huge hit on the touchdown pass before this and got right up, so he shows some toughness. And, you know, you can just see by the way he handles himself on the field, he's got poise. And, you know, he's become a team leader and somebody that, you know, all the other players in the Avon offense look to make big plays, and he continues to make them.
Well, this kickoff also gets pushed out of bounds. The upback thought about getting it and then decided, no, I'm going to see if it bounces out of bounds, which it did. And this time we'll see if Zionsville, it looks like they are going to set up the return again, so they're going to make Avon re-kick this football. 39 seconds remain in this third quarter. Avon now up 40-21. And for another 39 seconds, Justin Hydorn's going to have to worry about kicking into a bit of a stiff breeze. Again, wind coming out of almost out of the north, and I'd say at a good 20 miles per hour, as Coach Shelbourne mentioned. The flags over on the visitors' stands here at Hendricks Regional House Stadium, they are standing straight up. And Hydorn on a few of his kicks tonight. You can just see that wind kind of pick it up, keep it up in the air, and push it over to the far sideline. And he sets the ball up right in the middle of the hashes. Let's see what he does here. As he runs up, he puts a left foot in. He pooch kicks this one. And it's taken at the 38-yard line, and very wisely by the Zionsville up man, who on that play was Joel DeCourcy. He simply caught the ball, went down to the ground, and the Eagles will have this football at the same position they had it on their last drive, 1st and 10, at their own 38-yard line. But now they trail 40-21 with 39 seconds remaining in the quarter. So the Eagles, 1st and 10, and it is Broker still in. A little shovel pass. He finds Mickelson. Mickelson eluded one tackle. It looked like it was going to be blown up in the backfield. And Mickelson actually eluded an Oriole defender and took it up to the 46-yard line for a pickup of 8.
Very impressive picture on Twitter.
Like that, huh? You know, it's one of these days in October that you just don't think of putting the top down on your convertible to come to a football game.
But you obviously did.
9 seconds remaining. The Eagles are going to take the snap, play action pass, Broker back to pass. Good coverage downfield. Now they get it off, and they get it out to the far flat, and making a nice run to cut it upfield for Zionsville was Jay Edwards, and that'll be the final play of the third quarter. We'll switch ends. We have 12 minutes left of football on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. Our score, Avon leading Zionsville 40-21. Back with fourth quarter action right after this on 98.9 WYRZ. Crane Credit Union in Plainfield offers loans, savings accounts, as well as online bill pay and banking. They're located at 905 Southfield Drive in Plainfield, and their office hours are Monday through Thursday 9 to 4, Fridays 9 to 6, and Saturdays 9 to noon. More information can be found at cranecu.org, and their phone number is 317-838-8300. Crane Credit Union is a nonprofit bank.
Hey everybody, I'm Casey Petrowski from The Beatles Show. On our next show, the Beatles will remove all doubts as to who needs the rubber room. Put away the psychotropics, cancel the appointment with your therapist. You're not the one who'll need it. Join us as, for the second time, John, Paul, George, and Ringo show that they're the ones who needed the Rorschach tests. As the Beatles go crazy, again, on the next edition of The Beatles Show.
The Beatles Show, every Sunday at noon, underwritten by Brook Knoll Village. Right here on WYRZ 98.9 FM.
We switch ends at fourth quarter as Brendan Mickelson, he's going to throw it back to Broker. It's a lateral, and Broker does the actually smart thing. He simply fell on that ball. Zionsville, to begin the fourth quarter, tried a little trickery as Andrew Broker gave it to Brendan Mickelson, who was going to do a throwback pass. Not a very good pass, and it was definitely a lateral, and Broker just did the small thing to fall on it, but it's a loss of 11 yards on the play.
But they have nothing to lose, and they're 3 touchdowns down. They need quick scores. You know, they've proven they can move the football, but, you know, when you're down this far, they really don't want to do it by mixing things up. They need to hit some big plays if they're going to have a chance. And then on the other end of things, you're going to have to try to slow down Avon, and they haven't been able to do that all night long.
Here's Mickelson. He will take it right up the middle. He'll gain a couple of yards on the play, but no more than that. As the Eagles, again, they are moving right to left here in the fourth quarter. They will have the wind in their faces, and that's not a very promising situation when you are third down and about 18 yards to go.
No, I mean, like I said, they need the quick scores, but, you know, a bigger problem is they haven't been able to slow down or stop Avon's offense all night, so they've got a double-edged thing going here.
So Andrew Broker looks as the Orioles show blitz. They bring a linebacker, Broker back to pass, and almost intercepted. Spencer Strout, that's 5'10", 200-pound junior, got a hand on it. It was a hot pass, couldn't bring it down, but it'll bring up fourth down. And with 4th and 18, Coach Echeverria, he's going to bring in the punting unit to send this ball away by Nick Breyer. Luke Shayatovich will be a single safety back for Avon, and Breyer will be kicking this one into the wind. We've seen this ball, once it gets up in the air, kind of hang up, and Shayatovich is going to be standing back just inside the 20-yard line. The Orioles, they're playing it safe. And now they're going to call timeout as confusion reigns, as didn't have the right personnel on the field. I don't know if they were looking for a punt-safe unit or what, Coach. But
well, and they've got this goofy punt formation, too, and rather than take a chance that they're going to sneak a guy out that they think is not eligible, and he might end up being eligible, I think very wisely they took a timeout to make sure they've got everything covered.
I want to remind you, you're listening to the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. We're going to end the season with a doozy. Next week, we will be in Fishers, Indiana, as the Brownsburg Bulldogs travel to Hamilton Southeastern to take on the Royals. Pre-game show at 6:30. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Rob Kendall will have all the action on 98.9 FM WYRZ. And don't forget, stay tuned after this football game. If you love 80s music, we got a whole hour's worth of it as Kurt David is taking you back to the 80s. It's immediately following high school football tonight on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Fourth down, about 18 yards to go. The Eagles do spread everybody out. Gunners, several of them, as Breyer's going to get it. He will do a rugby, almost blocked. He gets off a great kick. It's going to take, though, an Orioles bounce and back up at about the 15-yard line, but flying in there for Avon was Sammy Bullock, and they almost got to that football, but in the end, Breyer with actually an excellent kick into the wind. It just backed up on him a bit with the bounce, but the Orioles will have it 1st and 10 at their own 17-yard line with 10:25 left to go, fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to do anything crazy down here, but I don't think they're going to take their foot off the throttle either. I mean, their style has been, to kind of hang loose and throw the football and, continue to do the things that they've been successful with. So they may run the football down here a little bit, but I don't see them slowing things down or getting too conservative just yet.
Brian Fitzgerald is the tailback, and he will get the football. He will scoot outside and then cut right back up the middle. I don't know if he was looking outside and saw the hole in the middle, but he did pick up about 3 yards on the carry up to the 21-yard line. Clock moving as we approach 10 minutes left to go in this football game. Avon has never trailed, and the closest Zionsville has gotten tonight is 12 points. And right now they trail by 19, 40-21.
And they're kind of stuck here. What they've done hasn't been the answer, but if they take too many chances, Avon will hit the home run, but they've got to make something happen.
Samson James looking for some room, trying to be patient, but nothing really develops. And he'll pick up a couple of yards, and that's going to set up 3rd down and 3 yards to go for Avon. Avon moving left to right here in this fourth quarter. They will have a very stiff wind to their backs. And right now they will face 3rd down and 3. Ball resting on the 24-yard line on the right hash. As Andrew Buss now into the game. He is a wide receiver to the far side of the field. Corey DePriest works slot left, and Luke Shayatovich, lone wide receiver to the near side at the boundary. And the give is a Samson James. It was a low snap to Meisner, and that kind of threw the timing off as he just simply had to wait just a second. Samson James did to get the handoff, and by that time that kind of broke up the timing of the play.
Yeah, Zionsville needs this, but again, time is a huge factor. They have scored, but they've got to get some quick scores. For Avon, it's not a disaster. They tried to run. They ran some time off the clock. If they can safely get this punt off and go down and cover and just kind of slow things down, they'll be in good shape. You can tell they haven't punted yet tonight. They're still running players on the field.
Well, we haven't seen Mason Stemler since that first down run he made earlier, and the Orioles are going to have to burn their 2nd time out of the half on special teams. But ever since Mason Stemler earlier in the first half made that run, they got them the first down, extended the drive, and led to their first touchdown. The Orioles haven't had to punt all that often in this football game, but the 2 times they have, it has been Justin Hydorn back there punting the football away. So don't know if Stemler might have gotten himself maybe a little dinged up on that run. It led to the first down and led to the score, but right now it is Justin Hydorn back out there to punt this ball away. And He will have Tommy Fawcett for the Eagles standing back at his own 40-yard line, as Hydorn will have the wind to his back. Hydorn gets it, and he'll get this one away, and a good kick. Boy, he boomed this one. It takes a 30, bounce at the 30. It's touched by Fawcett. He's hit. Ball still loose. Ball still loose at the 20-yard line, and it belongs to Avon. Tommy Fawcett, that ball kind of took us sideways, and he was either indecisive about whether to get out of the way or go field the football. In the end, he touched it. He got creamed. The ball was loose, and the Orioles come away with the football, and it looks like coming away with it was Spencer Strout. And the Orioles have it 1st and 10 at the Eagle 19 on a booming kick by Justin Hydorn.
Yeah, booming kick and great coverage, and just really, not a wise decision by the Zionsville return guy. I mean, just let that ball go. Take the ball where you get it and see what you can do, because this is absolutely not what you wanted to do.
So 1st and 10 at the Eagle 19-yard line. The Oriole offense back out on the field. As Meisner drops back to pass, this might be a bit of a busted play. He'll throw in the end zone, and did he hang on? No, he did not. As getting creamed was Corey DePriest, and the way Meisner kind of went back, I think he was expecting to hand that football off, and there was nobody back there to hand the ball off to.
Now, a little miscommunication, but my goodness, he had all day to throw and all day to throw and all day to throw, and probably still had time to throw. So the receivers did have time to try to scramble and get open. He got outside a little bit to the right, really made a pretty good throw on the run there to even have a chance for the touchdown.
Corey DePriest, however, is walking very slowly over to the Oriole bench. He was the intended receiver, and he got creamed between a pair of Eagles defenders, and he's still slowly coming off the field. 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Avon with a 40-21 lead. They'll have a 2nd and 10 at the Eagle 19-yard line. Ball on the right hash. 3 wide outs, 2 to the far side of the field to the left, and this time it is Fitzgerald. He will take it. He will dive forward, and Brian Fitzgerald will pick up 5 yards to take it inside the 15 down to the they'll mark it at the 15, so credit him with a gain of 4, 3rd down and 6 coming up.
He's always one step away from taking it all the way. I mean, he gets to the outside and he just glides, and he sees that opening, and he's able to turn it back up and kick into that second gear, and again, very, very close to scoring a touchdown on that play.
Andrew Buis into the game. He is a wide receiver to the far side. Luke Shayatovich is the lone receiver to the right. 3rd down and 6, and here is Fitzgerald. He'll not find a whole lot of room. He'll be driven back after a gain of maybe a couple of yards before he is tackled and driven back. Looked like it was Jake Nutter might have been in there to make the tackle. It'll bring up 4th down. The ball is just inside the 15-yard line with 6:59 left to go on the clock and counting. And the Orioles offense, they stay on the field for this 4th down and 6. No, that is actually Hydorn. Excuse me. He is out there for a 31-yard field goal. Left-footed kicker, wind at his back. Good snap, good hold. The kick is up, and the kick is good. A 31-yard field goal from Justin Hydorn. Tacks 3 more, and the Orioles now lead the Eagles by the score of 43-21. We'll be back with a kick right after this. This is the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ.
This Saturday night, Comfort Suites in Brownsburg presents the broadcast debut of the United We Stand Bowl. It's the Police versus Fire charity football game, and the kickoff is at 8 p.m. live from Brownsburg High School. If you can't be there in person, you can listen on 98.9 FM and WYRZ.org. This broadcast is underwritten by Comfort Suites in Brownsburg and Duke Energy.
Avon takes advantage of an Eagles miscue, and they end up with a 31-yard field goal from Justin Hydorn, and they lead 43-21 as Hydorn's kick will be tapped by Fawcett. Don't know what he was thinking about even trying to jump for that football, but fortunately for the Eagles, it just goes off his fingertips and is muffed out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. So the Eagles will take this ball 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line.
Well, we're not going to make 100, but 64 is a lot of points for a high school game. So I think Avon's done a nice job slowing down Zionsville tonight because they've been putting up lots more points than this. But Zionsville also came in here and proved that they could move the football against some pretty good defenses.
So 1st and 10, empty backfield except for Levi Blake, and he's going to fire it left side off of the fingertips. Looks like he was looking over on that far side to Ethan Hudson. As this time the Eagles, they emptied the backfield, and Levi Blake takes back over the quarterbacking position duties from Andrew Broker as he enters this football game trailing by 22 with 6:32 remaining in this fourth quarter. Alongside the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelbourne, I'm Brian Scott. Orioles show blitz, and there they come. Levi Blake has gone down. And Brian Fitzgerald, Avon didn't disguise it at all. They showed they were coming. Fitzgerald came in off of the edge, and he sacks Levi Blake for a loss all the way back to the 10. A loss of 10 on the play, 3rd and 20.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're true to what they believe in. Coach Bombi is not calling off the dogs. They're up here by 22. They blitzed on every play. They bring the weak side blitz with their safety, linebacker Fitzgerald coming off the corner, and they just continue to attack.
Under 6 minutes left to go, 3rd and 20 for the Eagles. Blake will fire, looks, has a man, good catch. Going up to make the catch was Ethan Hudson on a tough play. He made a nice adjustment. The ball was behind him, just grabbed it with his hands and brought it down. It's a pickup of about 14 on the play, but it's going to bring up 4th and 6. Clock continues to move. 5:32 left to go in this fourth quarter, and the Orioles up by 22. Blake on 4th down and 6. 4 wide receivers.
Man coverage and blitzing again.
This time. It's just a little too anxious there by Avon. Fortunately, this will not give Zionsville a first down as it's 4th and 6. But it's going to make it a much more interesting, and Brendan Mickelson is definitely going to make a return to the lineup. He had been absent at the start of this drive as the Eagles went empty backfield, and now 4th and 1. Mickelson, their very talented tailback, enters the lineup. So the 5 yards makes a big difference, and now Zionsville is just going to go jumbo.
But the clock's still running.
And it is given to Mickelson. He breaks it, and he will not be touched. Brendan Mickelson, who has 4 100-yard rushes on the season. This isn't 100 yards, but it is 71. And Mickelson, once he got through that front line, nobody was going to catch him. He busts off a 71-yard touchdown run to make it 43-27.
Well, we knew they'd make it interesting, and even if they don't end up winning the game here tonight, Zionsville has an interesting offense. It's interesting that they play 2 quarterbacks, and they both have played pretty well tonight. The running back certainly can play for anybody, and they have been able to move the football, here fairly consistently.
Ryan Stein is on for the point after with 5:01 left to go in this fourth quarter, and this will be blown dead. Well, what a difference. A lot of people may not think a 5-yard penalty is such a big deal, but when you go from 4th and 6 to 4th and 1, and you can bring that back in, that shows that he is that explosive.
Well, and in reverse, Avon had the situation earlier where they had the 3rd and 2 that ended up being 4th and 8 when they didn't convert, and the next thing you know, Zionsville's on the board. So, you just don't know about those things, and sometimes they come back to bite you.
They're
going to go for 2.
Penalty was against Avon, and it'll be a half the distance penalty, and that's also nothing to be trifled with here, because that half the distance has led Coach Pat Echeverria to the decision to go for 2 instead of the single point. And right now that would make it a very, very interesting football game. So now the offense is on the field, and it is Levi Blake in at quarterback. They'll use that jumbo set. Brendan Mickelson is the tailback. He'll get the football. He'll go right forward, and he will punch it into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. And just like that, it is now 43-29, but the clock is in the favor of the Orioles with 5:01 remaining in this fourth quarter.
Well, we're getting closer to 100. That's 72.
Well, I'm sure what Coach Mark Bless would like to see is just a nice little sustained drive here with his running backs chewing up some yardage and chewing up some clock.
I think what he'd like to see is 0 on the clock. Let's get this one over with and move on to next week.
Next week, the Orioles will finish up the regular season on the road. They will be in a very tough place to play in Noblesville.
Although I did see the last report I saw, Brownsburg was beating Noblesville tonight 21-0 the last time I saw a score.
That'll set up a very interesting game. Again, Hamilton Southeastern this week. They are playing a non-conference game, so they cannot lose any ground in the HCC standings. Next week will be for the championship. The best Hamilton Southeastern looks like they can hope for is a tie onside kick, and they will send it to the near side. Ball bounces. It's still loose. Let's see. It looks like Zionsville came up with it. And they did. Second week in a row that the Orioles have been victimized by the onside kick. Deuce Thomas gets the recovery for Zionsville. And just like that, with 4:56 remaining, Zionsville has the football, 1st and 10 at the Oriole 47, though the officials are talking this one over, but it is on the Oriole 47-yard line, so onside kick, and it's the Eagle offense back out onto the field, and Levi Blake is the quarterback. 4 wide receivers, Orioles show blitz. Here comes Fitzgerald. They'll swing it out. They have a man open. That's Brock Bishop. He has the first down. He is pushed out of bounds by Ian Pendleton, but not before he gets it into the Orioles, down to the Orioles' 32-yard line. So even though they knew it was coming, the Orioles can't execute on the onside kick, and the Eagles now have it 1st and 10 at the Oriole 32. Blake back to pass. Steps up, rolls to the right. Looking. He fires, almost intercepted.
Wow.
And, I mean, it was not even close.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't run.
Nicholas Gray was there in coverage as pass was intent for Tommy Fawcett, but as Coach mentioned, Levi Blake had plenty of room around that right side and plenty of room to even get out of bounds.
Well, we're in man coverage right now and didn't blitz. So once he got to the outside, there was nobody there in contain because they were all running with receivers. So he had a lot of open area.
2nd and 10. Blake back to pass. Looks right, fires right, almost into the hands of Seth Lewis. And I don't know what. I have no idea what Levi Blake saw, but there was a big guy in black with 4 and a 9 on his jersey, and he threw it right into his hands. Unfortunately, there's a reason why those guys are defensive linemen.
Evidently. Yeah, I mean, they're sending 5 receivers out right now. Avon is not rushing as many as they did. They're trying to cover a little bit more, so he does have more time to throw the ball, but they're also having trouble finding an open receiver.
3rd down and 10. That's a little shovel pass. This is Mickelson, and he's brought down on a fantastic play by Brian Fitzgerald.
What a surprise. Well, again, that's he's playing kind of that spy robber, whatever you want to call it. They sit him in the middle just for those kind of plays. He's spied that play quickly, came up and made a great tackle on a play that, when it developed, when it first started, it looked like it was going to be a good play.
So now it's 4th down and 9. Clock moves. 4:10 left to go in the fourth quarter. 43-29. Eagles trailed, and this is a big 4th down. Good big play for the Orioles defense. They show blitz.
Yep, and they're bringing it.
Here's Blake back to pass, looking downfield, and knocked away on a very, very smart play by Carson Nieheiser. Didn't need to try to intercept it. All he needed to do was make sure it was knocked down, and he did just that, and the Eagles turn it over on downs. So Carson Nieheiser, recognizing the situation, just knocked it down to the ground. Could have had a shot for an interception, but he ends up making a better play by just making sure that ball ends up on the turf. The incompletion will give the Orioles 1st and 10 at their own 31-yard line with 3:56 remaining.
Yeah, good, smart kid. Played well all year. Had a very, very nice season here. Just does what he's supposed to do, and you can see there he kept his head in the game and did exactly what was appropriate.
Samson James, the ball carrier, as he takes it right up the middle. And on the inside handoff, he'll pick up about 6 yards on the play, and the Eagles will call the first of their allotted 3 timeouts with 3 minutes and 48 seconds remaining on the game clock. I want to remind you, stay tuned. Coming up immediately following the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week, Kurt David will be taking you back to the 80s, a whole hour's worth of nothing but solid gold 80s music, and only right here on 98.9 FM WYRZ. It's been a beautiful night, been a little bit windy, but we cannot complain for the first week in October, as temperatures at game time were in the lower 70s. They're probably in about the mid-60s, lower 60s right now, but couldn't have asked for a better night of high school football. One more game in the regular season, and then the playoffs will begin. Keep it tuned to WYRZ. We'll let you know what that playoff schedule is going to be in the upcoming weeks. 2nd down, and call it about 4 yards to go, a short 4 for Avon. And once again, they bring in that twin back look with Samson James and Bryant Fitzgerald in the backfield. And they will give it to Fitzgerald. He'll look for some room. He will be patient, finds his hole, and he will get the first down up to the 45.
Nice run. They came up and contained it very well. Zionsville's pursuit was pretty good. Avon got enough push from their front, and Fitzgerald just made it happen.
First down up to the 45-yard line, as the clock will now move as we hit 3:30 left to go in the fourth quarter. Avon with a 43-29 advantage and the football. The Eagles have given them some scares in this game, but Avon's really never been not in control of this game throughout. And on 1st and 10, they will have the ball at the 45, and they will hand the ball off, and plowing ahead is Samson James, and James will pick up, I'd say, about 4 yards on the play. Now they'll give him credit for 3. They'll take it to the 49. Now they'll give him credit for 4. 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, another first down, and that probably will do it here.
As 2nd down and 6. As the Eagles have 2 timeouts remaining, but right now they are simply keeping them in their back pocket. As Andrew Buss goes to the far side of the field, Chad Carmichael is in the slot to the left. 2nd down and 6, under 2:30 left to play. We give it to James. He'll go forward, and he'll pick up a couple of yards on the play. He was knocked down by Zach Watkins, and now Zionsville will use the second of their 3 timeouts as the ball is spotted on the Eagles side of the 50-yard line at the 49. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4. Clock stops with 2:22 left to go in this fourth quarter, and Avon leading 43-29. For Zionsville next week, they will wrap up the season at home, and they will take on the Fishers Tigers. And as we mentioned at halftime, Zionsville will open up. And you're hearing a big shout out here at the crowd as Noblesville has knocked off Brownsburg, if I heard that right, 22-21.
And Brownsburg was ahead 21-0.
So Noblesville, these Millers have knocked off Brownsburg, sending them to their first defeat. And now that game next week is for all the marbles between Brownsburg and Hamilton Southeastern. The winner is the outright Hoosier Crossroads Conference champion. We'll have that game for you as the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week. Brownsburg at Hamilton Southeastern for for the Hoosier Crossroads Conference title as Zionsville takes their final timeout of the game. And while the fans here at Avon were excited about that score, I've got to think that Coach Mark Bless and the coaching staff probably kind of went, they will face those Noblesville Millers next week in Noblesville. But a big upset as the Millers knock off Brownsburg. Brownsburg, some has said, has worked a little bit of magic this season to go to 7-0, but the magic runs out tonight as they fall to 7-1. As Justin Hydorn.
That's a big win for Coach Simmons as well. He's in his first year at Noblesville, so that will certainly help his team and his program.
Hydorn gets this away. It's an end-over-end kick, and Zionsville, they have a different tailback back there after watching Tommy Fawcett a few times have some adventures back there in the return game. They sent back Rick Nelson to return this kick, and Nelson wisely just let it roll into the end zone. And the Eagles will have the football with 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining, trailing by 2 scores.
Well, let's see how many, they've run the double pass. They've tried to throw the halfback throw back to the quarterback, so we'll see. We haven't seen the hook and ladder yet. We have seen the shovel pass, so we'll see what other kind of trick plays they've got in the bag.
They empty the backfield, 5 wide receivers. Levi Blake, he swings it out. He finds Brendan Mickelson, and Mickelson will have the first down. Is coming around to make the tackle, I believe was Brian Fitzgerald. But Mickelson was lined up as a wide receiver. He takes the little pass, and he picks up about 12 yards, 13 yards on the play.
Avon just needs to be smart and keep everything in front of him.
Blake flushed. He rolls to the right side, gets the ball out. That pass is complete to Jay Edwards. It's short of a first down. Clock stops with a minute 50 as Edwards wisely just ran out of bounds. Save some time as the Eagles are out of timeouts. A minute 50 remains. They'll have it second down about 4 from their own 39-yard line.
Yeah, I'm sure Coach Bless and Coach Baumley would be very content to give up 5-yard passes for the remaining 150 in the game.
And Blake on a quarterback draw, he'll get the first down, and he will run out of bounds. That was a design quarterback draw all the way, just a little hop step and then bursting through the line, and he'll take it into Oriole territory down to the 49-yard line. Clock is stopped with a minute 45. Again, Avon with a 43-29 lead. Big news of the night. Brownsburg goes to defeat, down to defeat. Here's a pass, right side. Pass is complete. A fantastic catch over there on that far sideline by Brendan Mickelson. And Mickelson, a running back. He is a very talented running back, but
he's quite a player. He's proven that tonight.
He made a fantastic catch. Second down and 5, got out of bounds. Minute 39, Blake back to pass right side. This one's incomplete. He was looking for Fawcett over there on the far sideline, and that'll bring up third down and 5. And the clock did not move. A minute 35 when that play started.
Maybe
a minute 35.
A little louder.
Yeah, a minute 35 when it ended. Back to pass, Levi Blake fires right side, and that one's almost intercepted. And broken up over there on the far side. That was Nathan Conley that almost came away with a pick, and that'll bring up fourth down.
Well, that's twice they've tried to go to the right. They may want to go to the middle or back to the left because they're having a little trouble finding the open receiver on the right side.
The ball rests at the Oriole 44. This is the football game for the Eagles. They need a first down if they even have a prayer. And Blake is back to pass. And now he'll run, looks for some room. He will go across the line of scrimmage and actually got rid of the football before he got across the line of scrimmage. And the pass is broken up by Sammy Bullock, and that is going to be the football game as the Eagles turn it over on downs. A minute 22 left on the game clock. The Orioles just have a couple of snaps, and they are going to walk out of here on their final regular season home game with the win.
Well, it was a fun game. It was an exciting game. It was an interesting game. Lots of offense, lots of big plays. Avon just kind of methodically moved the football and did a nice job on offense. Defensively, they played pretty well most of the game, gave up a couple of big plays, a couple of miscues in the special teams that are going to have to be fixed during the week. Next week's game looks a lot more interesting now since we found out Noblesville beat Brownsburg, so that's...
And that is Cameron Meisner just taking a knee. He will likely just have to do that one more time as we kind of rued the 40-second play clock last week. This week, we are going to be fortunate enough to just have to take one more snap.
We'll take advantage of it this week.
Interesting enough, in our pregame show with Coach Mark Bless, we talk about it, and he's not overly against the 40-second clock. He said, if we had that last year in semi-state, things would have been a lot different.
Yep, they sure would have.
As Meisner will make sure that the game clock gets under 40 seconds before he snaps his football. He will snap it, and that will do it.
Yep, that'll do it.
The Avon Orioles are going to defeat the Zionsville Eagles by the score of 43-29. As the Orioles wrap up their home portion of the schedule with a victory, they will move to 4-4 on the season, 3-2 in HCC play, while Zionsville is going to fall to 3-5 and 0-5 in the Hoosier Crossroads Conference. Coach, it is a big game next week for Avon. For, if anything else, just kind of get yourself ready for Pike in a couple of weeks. This was a good starting point. You saw some good offense. You saw them try a few different things as they got ready to play next week. But what are some of the things you think Coach Bless is going to want to really go over before they play the Millers next week?
Well, special teams, I think, is one that sticks out. And again, defensively, we played pretty well most of the night. Our style is an aggressive style. We do blitz, we do play some man, we do get up there tight and play some people tough. And occasionally, when you're playing against quality teams, you're going to hit some big plays on you, and that happened tonight. But, overall, I'm not sure what the stats will look like. But, Avon was totally in control of the game really from start to finish. Zionsville made it exciting a couple of times with some scores. I thought the offense was clicking on all cylinders here most of the night. I don't believe we had a turnover. I thought Cameron Meisner had another very nice game. He's starting to mature as the season goes on. You've got Corey DePriest in there a little bit as a running back, and he's continuing to play well. Shadovich had a couple of passes for touchdowns again tonight. Fitz is Fitz, and Samson James is running well. And as I mentioned, that young offensive line of Coach Johnson's is starting to, become a unit and play as a unit, and did a nice job blocking tonight. So offensively, I think they have to be really pleased with what they did. And defensively, again, I think for the most part, they gave up a couple of big plays, but, again, we have an aggressive style. We get after people. We take some chances. Most of the time it works. Occasionally it doesn't. But when we had so much control of the game offensively tonight, I think that probably opened things up a little bit for them to continue to be as aggressive as they were. Special teams, obviously, you don't want to miss extra points. But we did have the nice run early off the punt that helped us as well.
So the Avon Orioles, they will go to 4-4 on the season. And, of course, one of the big things they want to do next week, of course, is finish with a win, not only to have some momentum heading in to sectional play against Pike, but you always like to end the season with a win. And you also like to end the season with a winning record. So it's going to be a big game next week for the Avon Orioles. They will be on the road to take on the Noblesville Millers. And as you heard earlier, it looks like the Noblesville Millers have knocked off the Brownsburg Bulldogs tonight by the score of 22-21, sending the Bulldogs to their first loss of the season. That makes next week's matchup on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week a very, very important one. It is for the HCC title, as the Brownsburg Bulldogs will travel to Hamilton Southeastern to take on the Royals. We'll have all the action for you next Friday night beginning at 6:30 with a pregame show, and then Rob Kendall will have the call of the game with a kickoff set for 7 o'clock. It is for the Hoosier Crossroads Conference Championship, the Brownsburg Bulldogs and the Hamilton Southeastern Royals, and you'll hear it all on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Stay tuned. Coming up immediately following our game, which is in just a few minutes, we're taking you back to the 80s with Kurt David on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Along with the Indiana Football Hall of Famer Dave Shelburne, I'm Brian Scott. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll see you again next time on the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Thank you for listening to the Kevin Kersey Agency Friday Night Football Game of the Week on 98.9 FM WYRZ. Tonight's game was broadcast with the help of Audiosportsonline.com and underwritten by the Kevin Kersey Agency of Brownsburg, Panuni's Pizza and Wings, Westside Plumbing, Heating and Cooling, Pete Fay, State Farm Insurance, Ivy Tech, Crane Credit Union, Reynolds Body Shop, McNamara Floors, Red Cobra Wrestling, and Avon Dental Center.